Remember, if it's game day and the Wildcats are taking the floor, you can count on 1290 to bring you all the play-by-play action, the biggest pre- and post-game show in the Pac-12. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hi, I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Recently, Lerner & Rowe was named the second most influential law firm in the United States. Although we have offices in other parts of the country, Glenn and I both live here and raise our families here. We are your local law firm. No other law firm in the state comes close to the experience, reputation, and results as Lerner & Rowe. When you're hurt in a wreck and need a check, call the law firm that can get you the results you need. Call Lerner & Rowe.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson, duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket, getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but 3 first names, David Scott Kelly.
And a great Thursday afternoon to you in Southern Arizona. How are you? Glad to have you. It's DK on the Sports Tip. 520-848-1290 is our phone number. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. It's me. It's J-Dub. Cricket will be with us here as well today, giving you all your traffic and weather as we get you home on this fabulous Thursday afternoon. Our last show in studio for the week. We'll be back out on location tomorrow for Arizona baseball as the Wildcats get set to take on the Stanford Cardinal. We'll dive into Arizona baseball today. We'll chat with Brian Jeffries, the radio voice of the Wildcats, for all things major sports, football, men's basketball, baseball on the men's side, and get his thoughts on the series at Seattle in his home state last week. It rained quite a bit. No surprise there. Generally does rain in Seattle. They got all 3 games in.
I was going to say, at least they got them in.
Got all 3 games in.
Because we heard on Thursday there was a chance they might have to do 2 games Saturday.
Right.
There was a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes stuff going on.
Yeah, but they got the games in. Wildcats only won 1 of those. Interesting that we had a chance to talk to Toby DeMello the other day. He's one of the assistant coaches, and he brought up the fact that outside of, I think there's 1 game of the last, I think, 5 or 6 losses for Arizona, they've lost all those games by just 1 run. They've had a string of 1-run losses of late. So they've been playing, again, they've been winning a lot. They've been losing close in the games that they have lost of late. Obviously, that was not the case on Tuesday night in the game against Grand Canyon, in which they lost by 16 runs. But that was an outlier in that realm of games that they've lost recently.
Bullpen game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bullpen games.
Lots of pitchers.
Lots of pitchers. 10, I think, was the final count in that game. So we'll talk to Brian about Arizona baseball. Also, we're going to talk to Andrew Kane today. Andrew Kane is a freshman infielder for the Arizona Wildcats. You'll hear from him. We actually had a chance to catch up with him yesterday. You'll hear that media scrum with Andrew Kane, local kid. Also, always love to see our locals that are playing at the University of Arizona out of Ironwood Ridge High School. I remember Andrew Kane being a pretty good basketball player in high school. Averaged 17 points per game for the Nighthawks on the hoops floor. Also a very good baseball player, dual sport star. Played a little bit of football up at Ironwood Ridge, but mostly baseball and basketball for the Nighthawks. And again, pretty good basketball player. If you can average 17 points a game in high school, you're pretty good. Made over 85 threes in his 3-year varsity career. Not bad. Shot, I think, around 32% from behind the arc in high school. But dude hit 520 in 3 high school seasons. 520.
520 career
in high school.
Yeah, 520 career, but you might see that in a season, DK, but to do that for your career is crazy.
Yeah. 520. That's pretty impressive. So that's why he is on the baseball diamond and not pursuing a basketball career somewhere else at a smaller school, but playing a major Division I college baseball for the University of Arizona. I would have loved to have had sniffed like 5 games hitting 520. Like get on a hot streak for like 5 games where I could hit that high in high school. He did that for 3 seasons. Pretty impressive. So we'll hear from Andrew about, playing 2 sports in high school. His first year hit a 2-run home run in that game on Tuesday, the loss to Grand Canyon. So we'll let you hear that again as well. And his thoughts. He's actually originally from Kentucky. And this is Derby week. We haven't even gotten into that yet. The Kentucky Derby is this weekend. And we'll dive a little bit more into that coming up tomorrow to get you set for the Derby. I would imagine that Bob Baffert is back.
No.
This year, no?
No, I read he's still out.
He's still,
3rd year in a row, yeah.
So he's still suspended.
Yep.
All right. So he's not back this year. Todd Pletcher, though, I would imagine, has horses in the field. We'll let you know how many horses Todd has. He is another product of the UFA racetrack industry program. We got to start when we got to start. Again, it's funny. I've said over the course of the last several years, you've got Bob Baffert, who came out in the 70s. You got Todd Pletcher, who came out in the 80s, and they're both big-time trainers. They've both won Triple Crown races, but where are the kids after that? We got to put some new blood in there from this U of A racetrack industry program. Maybe we'll get somebody on from the R-Tip, as we like to call it, the R-Tip tomorrow to find out. I would imagine it's hard. It's hard to become a big-time level winning horse trainer when you can win at that stakes level. That were all the major races. Not an easy thing to do, but it'd be nice to see a younger generation of Arizona Wildcats burst out onto that scene and join the likes of Bob Baffert and Todd Pletcher in that realm.
What I do know, DK, is this is the 150th Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
Meaning that it's
Derby
been
150.
Yeah, it's been competitive for such a long time. We talk about the competitive nature quite often of how to make a college football roster or how to get a scholarship offer to a major D1 for any sport, really. But horse racing and breeding has been so competitive for such a long time is probably the answer as to why it's so difficult to break through. The official, by the way, ruling on Mr. Baffert, all racetracks owned by CDI through 2024. So I'm assuming January 1st of next year will be when that clears.
Okay. And speaking of Todd Pletcher, he actually has the favorite in the field this year. Fierceness.
Good name.
Is the favorite. This horse has won 3 of the first 5 races that it has run, including a victory in March at the Florida Derby. So Fierceness has the best odds right now, and that is one of Todd Pletcher's horses. Todd Pletcher, a 2-time Derby winner, won it in 2010 with Super Saver, won it in 2007 with Always Dreaming. Fierceness will be ridden by John Velasquez. He himself has won 3 derbies as a jockey. Animal Kingdom in 2011, Always Dreaming with Todd Pletcher in 2017, and Authentic in 2020. So that's a good team there. You've got a 3-time winning jockey in John Velasquez and a 2-time Derby winning trainer in Todd Pletcher out of the U of A, training Fierceness, who right now has the best odds on the board at this year's Kentucky Derby.
Why?
Fierceness is, just to let you know real quick here, what are the odds?
I see 5-2, but that may not be recent.
Yes, no, 5-2, correct.
Why is it that horses have the best names? In all, like, for some reason, to me, like, just glancing through the field at the Kentucky Derby, they have just such the greatest names.
Yeah.
Here's a Mystic Dan Catalytic. That's a good name.
Catalytic? Okay.
Yeah, Catalytic. On and on and on. Endlessly domestic product. How about Honor Marie? I'm sure that's got a good story behind it.
Honor Marie.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't beat that.
Well, I mean, it's just every single year. You know, I didn't grow up in the horse racing scene. I've definitely been to the track a few times across the country, you know, California, Arizona. But I didn't grow up in that environment. But I've always loved, and I've always wondered, I guess, there has to be the story behind the naming of a lot of horses is some of my favorites that come out of this.
I mean, it is I guess if you're in that industry and you own horses, I would wonder what the process is.
I think
in
it varies,
terms of the names and how you go about that.
You got some owners and trainers who really like, you know, whatever their niece calls the horse a certain thing that people can't pronounce because she's 4 or whatever that is. Like, there's a lot of different stories that come out, but yeah, I've always enjoyed the names.
So we'll dive into the Derby. We'll see if we can get you some sound from Todd Pletcher coming up on tomorrow's show as we get closer. Where are you going to watch it? If you want to talk about, I know there's a number. I'm sure there's a number of parties that are going on around Derby Day this weekend here in Southern Arizona. If you're having one and you want to shout out your party, 520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. Todd Pletcher also has Leslie's Rose at the Derby this year, I believe, or actually Leslie's Rose may have been running in the Kentucky Oaks. Which is another one of the major races. I believe the Kentucky Oaks is either today or yesterday, but that's the big midweek race at the at Churchill Downs. So there's just a ton of great races that go on throughout Derby week at Churchill Downs, and then of course all the big outfits come out. Have you ever dressed up and gone to a big Derby party?
Are you asking me if I've ever worn a hat that was 5 times the size of my clothes?
There you go.
I've never done that.
Never done that?
I have had a mint julep, though.
Ooh, nice.
I think I might have made it.
You might have made it.
Yeah. Well, I did bartend for quite a long time.
You did. Did you like it?
Yeah, I mean, I like mint. I don't love mint. I like mint. So, yeah, I liked it.
All right.
I'm more of a, single malt scotch kind of guy, so mint julep's not really my style.
No, yeah, me too. I'm not. I think I might have had one as well at some point, but it just wasn't my scene, to say the least.
But the hats, though.
The hats are my scene. I like dress up events.
Sure.
It's always fun for dress up events.
I like dress up events where it's not about dressing up. Like if you go to Fashion Week in New York, it's about fashion. Like that's the whole point. But the fashion of the Kentucky Derby is a known thing and has been for a long time for something that has nothing to do with fashion, right? It's iconic, like the hats and everything else. And it seems like everybody tries to one-up themselves every year.
So, yeah, Fierceness is Todd Pletcher's only horse in the race.
Well, if you're
going to
run one.
Yeah, and he's got
good to have the favorite.
He's got position number 17. That's always kind of cool, like when they draw the entry slots.
Right.
Every year.
Well, I understand, like, certain horses, it's not always equal, right? It's not an equal field where some run better on the inside, some run better on the outside.
Yeah.
There's obviously preferred slots where you'd like to be at, but, my memory is that there's some horses that get a little more skittish if they're too crowded on the inside type of thing. Obviously, some like to lead, some like to come from behind, that whole thing, and how they run the horses, what the game plan is going in. But yeah, 17 seems like a good number. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know if 17 is better than 14.
And it looks like the in terms of the odds, the next two horses after Fierceness are Sierra Leone and Catching Freedom. Sierra Leone at 3-1, Catching Freedom at 8-1, and both of them are right up on the rail. They're like 1 and 4.
Right.
I'm sorry, 2 and 4.
Right.
So that there could be an advantage there for those horses. I would imagine there's an advantage if you're closer to the rail coming out.
Well, it's shorter
than being further off.
Yeah, I mean, basic physics. The distance around the track from the outside is much longer, right? So everybody always tries to get to the inside. It just depends, I think, if you get a good start. So if you're on that inside track and you get a good start and can get out and you're maybe a front runner type of horse, then definitely an advantage.
Are you into the Kentucky Bourbon?
Well, I mean, I like bourbon. It's a little sweet, though. I prefer Scotch. I like a peaty, malty kind of Scotch, like Lafroig type of thing. But yeah, I mean, I have bourbon has gotten real big in the last 10 or so years. So there's definitely a lot of really quality, smaller batch type of things I really like. Yeah, for sure.
Well, the Kentucky Derby is presented by Woodford Reserve. Have you had any Woodford Reserve?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like Woodford Reserve.
Yeah.
I probably like, I'm a Chivas Regal.
How do you drink bourbon?
How do I drink it?
Yes.
Always on the rocks. Sometimes it depends on if I'm in the right mood. I'll drink it straight. I'm not
sip it.
Yeah. But I like to mix it with like some ginger ale.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Ginger ale is kind of my.
Bourbon has some nice matches when it comes to mixers.
Absolutely.
I think anybody who drinks single malt Scotch with an ice cube is doing it wrong. If you put that in Coke, you're more or less an idiot. But as far as bourbons go, I don't think there's a correct way.
Yeah.
People will tell you like you get a fancy bottle or whatever. Go get a big round ice cube and sip on it. I think that's the general rule of thumb, but I don't think there's a wrong way to do it.
All right, we'll ask Brian Jeffries if he has ever been to the Kentucky Derby and what his favorite bourbon is. Coming up next, we're talking baseball. Brian is on the road at the first, what do they call it? The Wildcat Road Trip? Is that what they're calling this year? Where they're taking everybody out onto the road and visiting different locales around Arizona. And so we'll catch up with Brian and find out what is going on this first road trip for the athletic department this spring. It's DK on the Sports Tip. J-Dub is with me. Cricket is getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Benson and Alvernon and Benson Highway with a new collision just reported. Crash in Green Valley that's clearing Continental Road west of I-19. Busy travel westbound Speedway at Maine, Grant Road at I-10, also on Ajo Way at Mission. 62, the low, and looking at about 91 and sunny tomorrow, and 89 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Don't miss your chance to spring into deals at Lowe's. Get 3 19.3-ounce vegetable and herbs body packs for $10. Lowe's knows spring. Offer valid through 5/15 and store only. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii while supplies last.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Working on my hockey lingo.
You're doing that. You're learning quick.
Do you know what icing is?
I love icing. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, it's the best part of hockey, isn't it?
Don't miss out on all the fun.
Get the backyard you've always wanted with a custom pool from First Choice Pools. A backyard oasis built around you. First Choice is a full-service builder of beautiful in-ground pools and backyard designs for years of staycations. If you're ready to dive in, then visit TucsonPoolBuilder.com. Schedule now and get 3 months of full service free. First Choice Pools for installs, renovation, remodeling, and repair. Get started today at TucsonPoolBuilders.com. First Choice Pools, the first and only choice.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. The ugly truth is, when you buy a timeshare, you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. I recently helped a couple that had their maintenance fees go from $800 to $3,200 a year. They also received a $4,000 assessment for a hurricane that was over 1,000 miles away. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. Call 800-462-3333. That's 800-462-3333. 800-462-3333.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Wildcats fans from coast to coast can bring a little bit of Tucson to themselves wherever they happen to be by streaming 1290 on our website at wildcatsradio1290.com. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey listener, welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it!
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290. It's time for your Arizona Insiders.
Ah, sweet.
Each weekday, Wildcats Radio 1290 brings you all the latest news and opinions on U of A athletics. So bear down, Tucson, and let's talk Wildcats.
Our Arizona Insiders are brought to you by Coors Light, official corporate sponsor of Arizona Athletics.
There's nothing like game day in Arizona.
And there's no one more inside than the longtime voice of the Arizona Wildcats, Brian Jeffries, who is on the road this Thursday up in Phoenix for the first Wildcat Welcome Tour of the spring. They have taken the Wildcat gang to Culinary Dropout in Phoenix today. Brian, so are you going to be on all of these events that they've got going on for the rest of this month and in June?
I won't be home until sometime in July. They did bring some RVs so we could, spend some time bonding together while we're on the road. So, I'm not sure exactly where we go next. They don't tell us where we go next. It's just get in and let's go. No, I don't think I can't do all of them because of some baseball conflicts, but as many as I can. And so it's starting today here in Phoenix, and a lot of the U of A coaches are along. Brent Brennan's here, Tommy Lloyd, Rita Stubbs, John Court, Becca Moros. I'm probably going to miss somebody here as I'm thinking, and I haven't seen everybody just yet. But anyway, it's a great group, and Desiree Reed Francois will be here as well, the director of athletics, and a great event here to have hundreds of Wildcat fans here in the Phoenix area have a chance to hear directly from the coaches. And we'll be back up here in Glendale here on another stop later, so the folks that can't get to this one here in Central Phoenix have an opportunity there or some other places around the state. So it's fun. It's kind of neat because these are some of the fans that may not be able to get to games on a regular basis. And so for the U of A to reach out to them and say, hey, we want you to come by and meet the coaches and talk to them, it's special, I think, for a lot of the folks that are going to be here.
Yeah, you mentioned you'll be the tour stop will be back up in Glendale on May the 17th, so that'll be 2 weeks from tomorrow at Chicken and Pickle. I don't think, yeah, that is the one I went to. Chicken and Pickle is this really big, great establishment that's part restaurant with about 100, I don't know how many, 100's probably an exaggeration, but there was a lot of pickleball courts there. So I'm sure Tommy Lloyd's going to really enjoy Chicken and Pickle coming up on Friday the 17th, if he's still around, because I know he's got to go coach the USA team, so he might not even be around for that particular one. But next week in Yuma, and at a to be determined location on Monday, and then Tuesday there'll be a tour stop right here at home at the Union Public House. That'll be at 5:30. So folks here in Southern Arizona have a chance to get involved on this as well. Now, and Brian, they've done this before. This is obviously not the first year that something like that has been done. What's kind of, I guess, the mindset? Is there do these happen every few years? Because I don't think it's been every year that they've kind of done these tours.
Well, there's been several different variations of it, and no, it hasn't been an annual event. And for one reason or another, sometimes the scheduling just doesn't jibe with everybody. But this was a year they really wanted to do it for a couple of reasons. Certainly the success of the athletic department right now, I think, is something that they want to make sure that people have exposure to that. And it's that opportunity, like I said, David, for folks that don't get to Tucson a lot to be able to kind of touch base with everybody. I know Wilbur and Wilma are going to be here, and that sort of thing. Just the touchy-feely part of it, if I can say that is special for the fans. And I know that they would like to do this every year. If it works out, that's great. But this was a year where things kind of fell together, and you had coaches available and venues available. And I might add that one Wildcat who's pretty special, a lot of people know, Sam Fox, who owns Culinary Dropout.
Right.
He was one of the guys that was behind getting it started here today. So again, it's a collaborative effort, I think, with a lot of people that are connected with campus that want a chance to be around the Wildcats and the coaches. And we might have the last load hasn't arrived here from Tucson, so I think there were going to be a couple of student athletes coming as well.
Nice.
But everyone hasn't unloaded yet, so I'm not sure exactly who knows. It could be a big surprise.
Brian Jeffries is joining us, the voice of the Arizona Wildcats. I wanted to ask you this question, Brian, and I don't know if you were involved with it or if Learfield was at all. But during the NCAA tournament, there was a car commercial that was running that Wilbur was in. Did that kind of go through? Do you have any idea how that all came together, that Wilbur gets in a national commercial like that?
Well, I can't give you all the details. Didn't come across my desk, but it was something on a national basis that they were seeking mascots from major schools around the country. And so Wilbur's a very recognizable mascot, as most of them that you probably saw in that commercial. They were looking for mascots, again, from schools that are well-known, and also mascots that are well-known, so that when people see them, immediately they can recognize what school they're associated with. So that's about as far as I know, David. I don't know any other details how exactly that came together, but obviously it was great for the U of A to be able to have Wilbur as part of that. I don't know if he's still driving that car or not, but he doesn't have very good eyesight. I know that, trying to see through that mask. So I'm not sure if they let him bring it home or not.
Oh, man, that's funny. That's funny. All right, Brian, let's talk some baseball here. Wildcats last weekend lost 2 out of 3 up in Seattle. The weather obviously wasn't all that great for them to play those games. They've been the 11-game win streak came to an end. What did you kind of take away from those 3 games in Seattle this past weekend?
Well, I thought the first 2 were just well-played baseball games, 2 one-run games, and Arizona won the first one, had a chance to win the second one. It didn't happen, and that's the way baseball goes. The third one, not so good, and I think in particular because the Huskies banged out 19 hits. This is Washington has not been a very good offensive team this year, and for them to get 19 hits, and of course most of those off Arizona's bullpen, there was a little concern there. But at the same time, those things happen. And then you transition on to Tuesday, And yes, Grand Canyon's a very good team. They're leading the WAC. They're probably going to head to a regional here in a couple of weeks, and they've got some experienced players. But 23 hits, that's something that you hope it's an anomaly. And these things happen. Arizona's been on the other end of those as well. But we have to go back and look at these last two games. You see 19 hits, 23 hits, and you have to at least scratch your head a bit and say, okay. What is it that the bullpen needs to do better here? And I don't have the answer to that. I'm just pointing out the facts. That's my job, and saying, okay, is there a cause for concern, or is it just a couple of games where things got away from them? And I think this weekend we'll know a lot more about that. I mean, Stanford's improved vastly since Arizona was there for that non-conference game on the Monday. It's a very young Stanford team, and they're getting better as the season goes on. So. The Wildcats' goal is to win the championship, and I think they got to win. They have to continue to win series, and so that means win at least 2 this weekend, 2 at Utah, 2 against Oregon State. If they can do that, they're going to be in good shape. And baseball, because you play so many games, each one you can't look at one game and make a determination which direction your season's going, and that's why I'm interested to see how the Cats fare this weekend against Stanford.
We're going to get a chance tomorrow to talk to Clark Candiotti in our lead up to the game on Friday night. Have you had a chance to have any interactions with his dad yet, Tom, at any of these games that you've seen him at all?
I wasn't around during the early part of the season when before the Diamondbacks started playing,
right.
So I did not. We thought maybe we might see him in Seattle because the Diamondbacks were playing the Mariners.
Exactly.
And they had a night game Saturday, and Arizona played a day game. And I couldn't tell you because I looked around the crowd, but I wouldn't, since I haven't met him yet, I wouldn't know him by, if I just saw him. And so he could have been there. I didn't ask Clark before the game. I didn't see him before the game to ask him if his dad was going to be there, but it was likely.
So do you have, when you go back to see, obviously we've talked before, Washington is your home state. When you go back to Seattle, is there like a place, like a restaurant or something you absolutely have to go to?
Oh, I always go down to the market and get some chowder. That's,
okay.
That's the must stop. That's about it. That's about the only place. There's a place that, and don't laugh at me, okay? There's a place down in Fife, which is south of Seattle. It's called the Poodle Dog. And it's an old-fashioned diner. It was probably built in the 40s, and they haven't done much to it since. But they have a blackberry waffle to die for. And so, and they put this, I don't call it whipping cream because it's a lot thicker than what you would normally buy whipping cream. So there's probably nothing on this waffle that's good for you except the blackberries. But I tell you what, that's a breakfast for me, and
nice.
It's right off Interstate 5. So if anybody's traveling, you can't miss it. It's just north of Tacoma there in Fife, Washington. So I would recommend stopping by.
All right, I'll put that on my list next time I'm up in the Tacoma, Seattle area. We've talked a lot this season on the baseball side about Mason White and obviously a youngster out of South Point Catholic High School. We got to see we're starting to get to see a little bit more of another youngster here out of Tucson, and Andrew Kane, who's been able to get some time on that infield here in some games, and especially this past Tuesday, hit a 2-run, a home run. What have you seen from Andrew? We were just talking about him in the first segment, a dual sports star, played both basketball and baseball over in Ironwood Ridge, hit .520 for his high school career in 3 seasons. I mean, you don't get a lot of kids that can be that consistent hitting the baseball at the high school level.
Yeah, when I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and the first time I had a chance really to sit down and talk to him, and I asked him about going to Arizona games, and of course he had been really since he was a little kid, and that I think brought about his love for the program and his desire to play. And at the same time, Chip Hale loves to make sure that if there's an outstanding high school player in Tucson, that he's going to be in an Arizona uniform, and so I think. His name was certainly circled there based on his high school career, his desire to play at Arizona, and his just overall around talent. And so that's, I put him, you talk about Blake McDonald, who's not from Tucson and not a freshman. Who else we got? TJ Adams, another one. Guys that have not had a lot of playing time early in the season, and now they've been called upon for various reasons, be it injuries, be it just a need for a guy that a different position, and then you see what they can do. Maddox Mikalaka is probably another one. It was a DH earlier, and now with the injury to Richie Morales, Maddox has been playing third base and hitting the ball well. And I love those stories, David, because here's guys that may have not been a big part of the team early in the season, but when they have their opportunity, when it crops up, they make the most of it. And I think that tells you a lot about their character, number one, and their preparedness, that even though they haven't been playing early in the season, it doesn't mean that they're just sitting in the dugout, staring at the scoreboard, that they're prepared and they get ready every day in practice to contribute when asked. And so I love those stories, and I think that you can start with Andrew, and the list I just mentioned are guys, and there's more than that, but those are the guys that have stood out here recently.
All right, Brian, it is Kentucky Derby weekend. Do you have a big hat that you like to pull out for Derby Saturday?
No, I don't even know. What are those? What do they drink? Mint juleps?
Mint juleps, a lot of bourbon. We were just saying, do you have a bourbon that you like?
No. And I got to work Saturday, so there will be no drinking.
So no, there you go. We don't want you. We don't want you imitating Harry Carey out there Saturday night for Game 2.
That will not happen. Trust me.
Brian, enjoy the festivities up at the Culinary Dropout tonight, and we will look forward to hearing your broadcast beginning at 5:50 on Friday.
All right. Very good. Thanks, David. See you.
Brian Jeffries, he is the voice of the Arizona Wildcats on the Wildcat Welcome Tour. I'll give you the list here real quick before we go to cricket. Tonight, Culinary Dropout in Phoenix. Monday, I think the location is still to be determined in Yuma. I'll see if I can get the information before the show is over on where they're going to be in Yuma on Monday. Tuesday, back here in Tucson at the Union Public House at 5:30. Then they'll take 10 days off. Friday, the 17th of May in Glendale, back up in the valley, Glendale at Chicken and Pickle. You've got to go to Chicken and Pickle. Let me tell you, we went over there one Sunday that we were up in Phoenix. I think it was back during the fall. A pretty impressive location, Chicken and Pickle. Then they'll be back down in southern Arizona on Tuesday, June the 4th in Sarita at Rancho Sarita. Then Thursday, June 6th in Prescott Valley at Stone Ridge Golf Club. And then June 17th is a Monday in Nogales at Tacos and Toros. And the final welcome tour spot will be in Pine Top for a weekend. I mean, you can literally go up and start your weekend with the Wildcats in Pine Top on Friday, June the 21st at Charlie Clark's Orchard, and then stay up there and enjoy the rest of the weekend, because I would imagine that Pine Top is a place to be in the summertime when it's like 150 degrees down here.
I had a friend whose mom had a cabin up there. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah. So that is the welcome tour. Again, I'll see if I can find out where the Yuma location is going to be coming up for Monday. Cricket, though, now getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together. Collision reported Benson and Alvernon Way and Benson Highway, also clearing in Green Valley Continental Road west of I-19. Some busy travel on Valencia on the east side of I-10. Westbound Ajo at Mission for backups, and also some slowing southbound on La Cholla approaching Ajo Way. And for your weather, overnight tonight, expect clear skies, 62 the low, 90 sunny tomorrow, and 89 now. And I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 Traffic and Weather together.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's. Try Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart. Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is here to satisfy morning cravings with its warm, sweet cinnamon sugar rolled dough, ooey gooey texture, and signature cream cheese frosting. Get the best part in every bite this morning with Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart. Only at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Diego.
Hi, Diego. It's Jennifer Coolidge. I just want to say your cashback match makes me feel so special. It really inspired me.
That's great. Doubling the cashback you've earned at the end of your first year is what we do.
Well, I'm doubling everything now. Double dating, double dipping, double feature, double header, double whammy. Basically double or nothing.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
PSA for anyone who's not the best at remembering dates.
Mother's Day is May 12th. Luckily, finding something she'll love is easy. Just go to Kohl's. I got a Sephora fragrance set for $35. Then with the extra 20% off, I scored cute PJs for just $19.99 and jewelry for under $30. Plus, I earned Kohl's Cash and found even more great prices across the store. Yep, it doesn't get better than Kohl's. Select styles. Offers end May 12th. Coupons and Kohl's Cash do not apply to Sephora. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
Brian Peabody.
My biggest thing is get back. If you don't get back in transition D, you'll never play.
I got one of your former players at Greenfields here.
Player is very generous. I was not a player. I was just the guy who sat around on the bench. I was on your second team back in '92, way back when.
We didn't have a second team. We only had 6 players. What are you talking about?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and I wasn't even good enough to be on that rotation. So there you go.
Wildcats Radio 1290.
Attorney Joe Cordell. Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Tucson area attorneys. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois only. CordellCordell.com.
Doug. Hey, listener. Welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it.
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty. DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. 520-848-1290. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. In fact, text that number, 520-848-1290. Text app, actually, to that number. APP, text app to 520-848-1290, and I will send you a link so you can download our app and you can have all of the information that you need that's happening here across the state of Arizona about U of A, about the Diamondbacks, about the Suns. You can watch our show right now. It is streaming on our app. It is streaming also in a number of other locations. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook Live. We are on Twitch at Wildcats Radio 1290. We are also on Twitter at Wildcats 1290, so you can watch the show there. And everything you need to know about us is on that app. In fact, the top story right now is a recap of last night's Diamondbacks game, which they were shut out 8-0. Yoshinobu Yamamoto through 6 scoreless innings for the Dodgers, as the Dodgers take 2 out of 3 in that series.
Could they hypothetically sign that swarm of bees to some kind of contract so that way they get them in the building every game, and that could lead to some heroics by a local beekeeper?
We found out, and I don't want to give it away, but he did get something really cool out of his work in clearing those bees after the game or before the game on Tuesday night.
Was it pride in his work?
It was something I think even cooler than that, J-Dub. It was something cooler than that. I'm going to save that for Diamondbacks Download coming up in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll let you hear. It was actually, it's in one of the cuts that we're going to play, exactly what he got as a result of clearing the bees out of Chase Field on Tuesday.
I'm
prior
just saying,
to
like,
the
you got those
Diamondbacks
fans
win.
out there who wear their same jersey, that really gross, like, stained-up jersey. They sit in the same chair because they believe that leads to wins for their team. Well, somebody out there believes that bee swarm had some kind of magical mojo on that walk-off win. So I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it didn't carry over into winning the series, but that would have been nice. But yeah, we'll take whatever advantages we can get from our bee sweepers and those kind of things. I mentioned you can text the show, and Pete checks in on the Twitter and we were talking about this yesterday. We were talking about the Suns and what's next for them in terms of are they going to have to make any trades? Are they going to keep this big three core? Are they going to add a point guard to the mix? Are they going to fire Frank Vogel and bring in another head coach to try to figure this whole thing out? Pete checks in and says, these guys are a dumpster fire with no supporting group. No bigs in that supporting group. Agree with that one, J-Dub? No bigs off the bench to provide anything for this.
I don't think any
Suns
team. I don't think any team's a quote dumpster fire outside of potentially some stretches for the Pistons this year. But even the Spurs, who had the worst record, I mean, they had a lot of highlights because they got the best young player in the NBA.
So
right
the
now.
Spurs ended up with a worse record than
I
the
think
Pistons?
so. I'd have to double look, but I'd have to double check. But they had a really, really bad record, one of the bottom three. But no, I mean, I think that I take offense to the word dumpster fire because they made the playoffs and in fact were the 6th seed, right?
Yeah.
But with 3 potential future first ballot Hall of Famers, I mean, every fan out there who sees you win 0 games in the postseason, right, is going to have that opinion. As far as not having bigs, yeah. I mean, we've been talking about it all season long. Outside of their starters, they don't really have much off the bench, period. And it's all hit and miss and older guys, right, who can step in and knock down shots occasionally. But, yeah, rebounding, they got out rebounding in that second game, I believe it was, by 21 rebounds to Minnesota. Minnesota is one of the longer teams, bigger teams in the NBA. So when you go up against that, as I always say, matchups in the NCAA tournament, first round of the NBA, it's all about matchups. So that's just a really bad matchup with that roster. And you got to have more rebounding, especially from your second tier guys, if you want to stay in. If they're bringing 7-footers off the bench, DK, and your guys are 6'8", 6'9", that's a problem.
Well, and for the record, the Spurs had the 4th worst record in the league this season.
They got some wins down the stretch.
They did. They were 22-60. The Portland Trailblazers were 21-61, so they had the worst record in the West. And then there were 2 teams in the East that were equally as bad, or 3 really. Charlotte was 21-61. Washington was 15-67, and Detroit had the worst record. They lost 68 of their 82 games this year.
And there's no Wemby, so why you would lose that many games, who knows?
Whew, man, yeah, no, you mean no Wemby in this draft.
There's no surefire number 1 can't miss generational prospect coming up in the next draft. So what I'm saying is they were trying to win those games.
Yeah. Why in terms of the Suns and not really having any bigs that could come in and help out, when Nurkic would go out of the game. Why don't you think what's the kid's name? Watanabe or whatever the young man.
Oh, Watanabe.
Watanabe. Why did he not work out?
He's not much of a big though. I think he's more of like a 3 or 4 type player.
Really? I thought he was like 6'10".
He's tall. No, he's a big guy, but I think his skill set is more more of a playmaking style. He's not going to be banging guys under the boards on a regular basis. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this at length after they were eliminated. It's not so much what they have, DK, is what can they do about it.
Yeah.
Because as far as they picked up a lot of guys, you look at Eric Gordon as a good example. Really, really good. I loved Eric Gordon's game. Loved him in high school. I loved him in college. Loved him his whole way. Now he's older. His knees don't quite work the same way they once did, and he's a little inconsistent from the outside. So, but it's a big contract. You get those bigger 2nd, 3rd, 4th contracts in the NBA guys you bring in during the summer, and yeah, I mean, there aren't a lot of teams out there. The Pistons aren't calling Matt Ishbia and saying, "Hey, can I take some of these older, aging veterans off your hand because I really like their giant contracts." That's not how it works.
All right, congratulations are in order for one head coach of the Arizona men's tennis team, Clancy Shields, today, named Pac-12 Coach of the Year. How about that? 3rd time Clancy Shields has been Pac-12 Coach of the Year at Arizona. 2019, 2021, and now 2024 as he led the Wildcats to the Pac-12 regular season championship, a share of that title, the 3rd straight Pac-12 regular season championship, and the program's first ever Pac-12 tournament championship. We had a chance to catch up with Clancy Shields yesterday. Arizona will play Boise State in the first round. Clancy Shields' brother is the head coach at Boise State, and these two guys played this same first-round matchup last year, and now they're going to have to do it again. Clancy Shields and his brother Luke. Last year, it was dubbed the Shields Bowl. Is it being called that again this year?
Shields Bowl. That was last year.
Do you like this? I mean, going up against your brother? I mean, we talked to so many coaches that don't like these matchups.
No, of course you don't. I mean, I remember playing him. We've played each other a lot in the juniors, and it's like you're dreading it. But he beat me, I think, for a good 17 years of my life, and I've seemed to have gotten the nod. Obviously, being at Arizona helps. But, yeah, I've gotten the upper hand lately. But on like a regular season match, maybe. But the NCAA tournament, they've done so well this year. They've won back-to-back championships. Yeah, they're a really good team, and, you know, I'm rooting for them, but can't really do that when they're playing us. And but we're on a mission this year, so we'll put all that aside, and we got to go take care of the first round, and then we have a huge test in front of us with Boise.
You had talked earlier in the year just about how these guys, they want to make special things happen, and they'd gone to L.A. this year and won for the first time, and then finally getting that Pac-12 tournament monkey off of your back. Are you surprised by the resolve sometimes of them to do these new things?
Yeah, that was their number one goal. Let's create history this year. That was like our main pillar, like let's create history. I was like, God, we've done a lot of it in the last few years. Is there anything left? And I think we've done 5 or 6 things we've never done before. And, you know, we're getting closer and closer to the mountaintop, and it's hard to keep climbing the closer you get. And I think that's where you have to have a lot of special guys like we have in our locker room, guys that are going to keep pushing. And you win a regular season, and it's not enough, guys. We said we're going to win the tournament, and this is what we set out to do, and let's go do it. But this team is really special. Taking 5th or 6th place at the National Indoors, beating number 2 Texas. A lot of people have them as winning the NCAA tournament this year, winning the regular season, a California sweep. I mean, a lot of these things are really special. Being top 5 in the country, God, that was like, you sat there like, wow, this is really happening at Arizona. This is cool. And but now the bar's been set. How high can we take it?
Is it, with all those things that you haven't done before, is it too early to be looking at the Sweet 16 pairings and the possibility of being able to have that here based on what happens on the other side of the bracket? Yes,
I mean, I know you look ahead, obviously, but I can never look ahead or let these guys feel like we're looking ahead, because if we take our eyes off of what's important, then we can get, we can slip up and anyone can beat us. And we found that out a couple of years ago when we walked in and beat a preseason top 5 Michigan team who no one had us beating. And then we beat a Kentucky team who was 16-0 on the year. And this lowly old Arizona comes in and wipes the court with them. And it's competition. No one cares about your national ranking. No one cares about that. You got to go out and perform and get it done on any given day. And so I think our team knows that. They know how to prepare. And I kind of put the vibe out this week. Hey, how are we feeling? And everyone's like, school's done. All about tennis. Let's go.
How big was it having Coach Free back with the team this year?
Oh my gosh. It's so great because we've had the best volunteer coaching crew ever. I mean, he spent 2 years of his life as my volunteer coach. I remember talking to him one time, and he's like, Coach, I have $8 in my bank account. I don't know how I'm going to get through this. And I just said, look, just stay with it. We'll find you some work. We'll get some things for you. And then he ended up going off to be a head coach at Idaho State and came back as a totally different coach. And it's been so fun to have him here. But I love the loyalty of people who put in their time, put that sweat equity in your program. And now he's here and helping us be top 10 in the country and having one of our best seasons. And also one of the best recruiters in the country.
What's Gustav's legacy going to be in this run that you guys have made, this program?
I mean, it's everything. He came in as a freshman, Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, top 15 in the country, NCAA performer multiple times. But I think he's kind of that guy who does it in the shadows. And some guys can get more credit than he does. But if you ask any guy on the team who's our lockdown point, who they know is going to get the point on the biggest of matches, like, oh, it's Goose. Like, he's just a big-time player in big-time moments. And if you look at his record, it's like astounding, what he's been able to do in the spring and the wins that he's had for us. And so, yeah, words can't describe how much I appreciate him and how grateful I am that he came here. And then he also was like the marquee player that was like, Arizona's the place to be. And if Gustav goes to Arizona, then it's a good program. We got to go there.
Hey, Coach Ryan made a point of saying on Monday that he believed you have changed college tennis forever. His words. Your reaction to a statement like that?
I don't know. I'm just putting my head down and working. But I'm very, very proud of what we've accomplished here. And, all these nice accolades that people have thrown my way, I go home at the end of the night and my wife humbles me very quickly. And I come back and I know that I'm just proud to work at Arizona. I think this is one of the coolest places you could ever work. This is home. This community, these kids, this is a really special place, and I'm just tickled every day I get to work here.
So is it true then on Friday it won't be a Shields family reunion like last year? You said that on Monday.
Yes. We had like 20, 30 family members come in last year. They got an Airbnb, and everyone came in. I think, it went quick, but I think for my brother's sake, it was just like a lot of pressure and everything, but we still were able to enjoy it. And I think it's our last time. My dad's 82; he can't travel anymore. It was the last time that he was able to travel and see us, and like, what a cool moment. And my parents said, "Hey, even though we can't travel, we're going to be watching on TV or the cameras, and don't fight each other." I said, "Mom, I promise we won't fight each other."
Obviously, your eyes are focused on the NCAA tournament. Can you talk about Colton and Jay being selected to go to the individual singles again and what that means to them in the program?
We had so few players go to the NCAA tournament before these guys have shown up here, and it is so hard to do it as an at-large bid. I think you have to be like 45 or 40, really high in the rankings to get in there. And these guys, Colton's been earning it since day one, but Jay, how do you come from playing 6 in our program to being a top 30 player within a year? And that just speaks to our coaching staff and our players. The guys get better in our program, and we have to get better in our program. We're not going to out-recruit a lot of teams, and we know that here, and that's okay. But we're going to out-develop them. And I think that's what we're really proud of, is a lot of our players who've come in here have developed into really elite players, and they're going to the NCAA tournament. And to have 2 players from Arizona do it, I think we could have had 4. But it's just the math and how it works out. Gustav should be there. Herman could be there. He's like 19-2 on the year. It's just how it all works out. So very proud.
All right, that is Clancy Shields, again, Pac-12 Coach of the Year on the men's tennis side. 3rd time he has won that award. Other awards for Arizona men's tennis that were handed out today by the conference. Jay Friend and Colton Smith were named Pac-12 Doubles Team of the Year. Smith and Friend and Gustav Strom all tabbed as all Pac-12 First Team. Nick Legave and Herman Hoyrall earned spots on the All Pac-12 Second Team. Casper Christensen was a All Pac-12 Honorable Mention honor. We had a chance to also catch up with Colton Smith and Gustav Strom yesterday. We'll see if we can get you those interviews a little bit later on. We might even try to get one of those in today, but definitely we'll get those 2 guys in tomorrow on the show and let you hear from them as well. So congratulations to all the Wildcats men's tennis team members for their Pac-12 honors, and Clancy Shields as Coach of the Year. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Coming up in the 4 o'clock hour, we have got Gile Bitte Starkute from Arizona Women's Golf. They head to their regional in Las Vegas, which starts on Monday. So we'll talk to the top player or one of the top players on the Arizona women's golf team in the 4 o'clock hour. It's DK on the Sports Tip. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With collisions, Cortero near I-10 on Cortero east of I-10. Also a wreck at Benson and Alvernon and Benson Highway. And some busy traffic for Ajo and Mission, southbound La Cholla at Ajo Way, Speedway westbound at Main Avenue, and also on Grant Road at I-10. 62 the low, 90 and sunny tomorrow, and 89 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by ExpressPros.com. If you're ready for a new job, let Express Employment Professionals help you. Express is already hiring for summer jobs in a variety of industries. Job seekers never pay a fee at Express. Go to ExpressPros.com to find your location. That's ExpressPros.com.
Free tickets to a U of A baseball game? That's what Clipper Automotive is giving you a chance to win. Clipper Automotive is now a proud partner of Arizona Athletics and would like to give you the opportunity to win a pair of tickets to a University of Arizona baseball game this season. All you need to do is stop by the shop on Thorndale Road and put your information in the Enter to Win box. Stop by to enter at Clipper Automotive. No purchase necessary. Clipper Automotive provides honest, reasonable, and stress-free automotive repair services and looks forward to servicing your vehicle.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The Wildcats play here.
This is your home of Arizona Wildcats football, men's basketball, and baseball. This is the home of the Wildcats. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
Remember to tune in to Wildcats Radio 1290 for the biggest pregame show in the Pac-12.
Because that's how we roll.
We go on the air 4 hours before every football and men's basketball game all season long. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Searching HVAC near here.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Wow, nobody local? Huh.
Wait, what? We are an HVAC company literally in your neighborhood. Why is she not seeing us?
Just all the big chains. Well, it is what it is.
What in the... Can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you. Because you're buried deep in the list of local HVAC providers. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station.
We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip
with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now,
a man who has not one, but 3 first names,
David Scott Kelly.
Hour number 2 of the program on this Thursday. How are you? Hope you're having a great afternoon, getting excited for the weekend. Do you got a Kentucky Derby party going on this weekend? I know my frat brothers are throwing one down at Brother John's. So if you're looking for something to do, head on down there for their Kentucky Derby party. Make sure you have a nice hat, some really cool shoes or something like that to kind of stand out, because that's what it's always about. That I have never been to the Kentucky Derby. I would love to go at some point, because I hear it's a really cool event, unless, of course, it's raining and then it gets really muddy, and I'm not really into the muddy type events.
I think it's also pretty important to keep your chin up, like with the air of smug importance, as if like you really matter when you walk into a room with that giant hat.
Exactly. So tell us what your plans are for the Kentucky Derby. I know in the past they've had events out at the racetrack out at Rethel Park, where they open up Rethel Park and folks can bet and watch it there. I did several live shots there back during my TV days over there at the Rethel Park on Derby Saturday. So we'll have to reach out, and tomorrow I'll reach out and see if what they've got going on over there, and we'll let you know as well if there's anything big happening in that respect. But if you've got a good party you want to talk about, we love all the information. So give us a call at 520-848-1290, or you can also give us a text at 520-848-1290 if you've got big Derby plans going on. I know the big Centurions party is this weekend on Saturday. We'll get into a lot more of these things tomorrow on What's Up Weekend, but it's going to be a fun weekend. Yachtly Crew is here this weekend. That's where we'll be Friday night down at the Rialto. So if you're heading down to Yachtly Crew, look for me. I'll be down there. I don't know that I'll be. I think my wife's going to be wearing the captain's hat, so I'll just have something on other than that. But that should be a fun evening, as it always is when Yachtly Crew comes to town. NBA. Let's update you on what's going on in the NBA and the NHL. We had 2 games last night in the NBA and the association. One of these series came to an end. One of them is getting close to the end as we start to round into the second phase of the playoffs for both the NBA and the NHL. The Mavericks got a huge win on the road.
Here's Luka against Tucker. Luka to his right against Zubats. Measuring him behind his back. Top of the arc, 8 to shoot. Over Zubats for 3, down.
That looked like a Luka Doncic v. Ivica Zubats possession that we've gotten so accustomed to seeing over
Luka's third 30-point game of the series.
David Kelly, did you know that 25-year-old Luka Doncic led the league in scoring this year by almost 4 points per game?
No.
I mean, Embiid didn't meet the threshold, obviously, because he got injured. He was also in that area. But the final numbers, Luka averaged 33.9 per game. Second is Giannis at 30.4 at 25.
Nice. 35 last night to go along with 10 assists, a double-double, 123-93. Jeez, 30-point win for Dallas on the road. This is a 4-5 series, if I'm not mistaken. And the Mavericks now have a 3-2 advantage heading back to Dallas for game number 6. Remember when the Clippers were just like, they looked like they were going to be the best team in the West in January?
Well, I will say that Kawhi Leonard played more games this year than he has in a minute. Like, he was relatively healthy all year long, but he has that knee. He's got that swelling knee. Remember Michael Jordan later in his career had to have his knee drained all the time? Similar situation there. And if you don't have Kawhi Leonard on the court, I don't care if you have Paul George and James Harden and Russell Westbrook, who's not been playing well in this series. Kawhi is such a force on both ends of the court. When you take him off the court, it's a problem for the Clippers.
Michael Westbrook, 2 of 11 in 16 minutes, just 6 points, missed all 3 of his threes. James Harden, 2 of 12.
Yeah, both those guys.
1 of 7 from 3, 7 points in a 30-point home loss to the Dallas Mavericks.
So Russ in the first game versus Dallas went 5 for 8. Game 2, 2 for 9, 0 for 7, 2 for 8, and last night 2 for 11.
So
he's made 6 total field goals in the last 4 games.
Not good at all. Not good at all. Not going to get you to round 2 if you are the LA Clippers. Also not going on to round 2 are the Miami Heat.
Tatum again, moving slowly to his left. Bounce entry, caught by Holiday. Kick out, corner, White, 3, got it.
Yep.
Bam's not going to play 48 minutes tonight because there ain't going to be 48 minutes to play.
Not at all. I mean, the Celtics essentially took the fourth quarter off because they won big as well. 118-84. 34-point blowout of the Heat in Game 5 to close out that series at the Garden. The Celtics win it by a score of 4-1, 4 games to 1, and now they'll await the winner of this ultra-tight series between the Orlando Magic and my Cleveland Cavaliers in round 2.
Yeah, lots of blowouts, right? Up until that last one.
Derek White, 8 of 13, 5 of 10 from 3. He had 25 points in that ball game. And again, the Heat were somewhat shorthanded in this series, but that did not matter, said their coach, Eric Spoelstra.
We're not going to put this on the fact that we've had some injuries. Let's not take anything away from Boston. They've been the best team in basketball all season long, and in this series, in 4 of the games, they played as such. That had nothing to do with the injuries. Had nothing to do with guys that are available or not available. They played very good basketball, and they probably had something, to motivate them even more against us. But they played at a high level, and they will probably. I will not watch 1 minute of their games, but they'll probably do this, to several teams, from here on out. They've got a very good team. They know what they're doing, and they deserve this one.
I mean, if you're an NBA coach and you spend, 20 hours a day studying film and preparing game plans, and then you get knocked out of the playoffs, you're probably not going to be watching much basketball.
No. Why would you want to?
Well,
it's like LeBron said the other day. He's like, I'm going to go enjoy my family now.
Spo also has some responsibilities because he's an assistant for Coach Kerr this summer at the Olympic Games. So
tonight, you got the Pacers and the Bucks. That game is in progress early. Indiana leading 35-31. TJ McConnell with 8 points in the first half for the Pacers as they look to end that series leading 3-2.
Milwaukee, about an hour and a half before the game, got good news. Damian Lillard is playing in this game. He was doubtful up until maybe 2 hours before tip and was moved up to potential. I'm not sure. It wasn't probable, wasn't determined that they used. But, yeah, Damian Lillard is playing tonight, 3 for 6, 10 points. So it's tough. Tough to match up with Damian Lillard and the Bucks the way they were shooting the other night. But the Pacers at home, they got to take care of that game.
Can the Sixers force a Game 7 tonight and send it back to the Garden?
No.
No. Okay.
No, I mean, I just think the Knicks, the Sixers, if they were fully healthy, would be different. But Embiid is like maybe 60% what he could be physically. I just really like the way that the Knicks are playing right now. So I think the Knicks win this series. They'll win tonight. Yeah, I think the Knicks will win tonight.
Okay, so they'll wrap that one up, says J-Dub, and move on to round number 2.
Incidentally, I told you about the 7 points that Maxey scored in the last 25 seconds of that game to force overtime.
Right.
NBA 2-minute rule came out and said that he traveled on that 4-point play.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess.
Right, after the fact, it doesn't really mean much to the opposing fan base, but at least they admit that they got it wrong.
Yeah. Well, in the NHL, we haven't talked a lot about hockey outside of the Roadrunners, but we do want to, we've got a fan base out there that loves hockey, so we want to make sure that our hockey lovers know what's going on. But the champions are up against the wall.
Heiskanen, Robertson, right between the dots. That shot blocked. Another try. Score! More down on the power play. Dallas has the lead.
The Dallas Stars have a 3-2 lead in their best-of-7 series against the defending Stanley Cup champion, Vegas Golden Knights. This series now will shift back to Las Vegas for game number 6 tomorrow night, with Vegas needing a win to stay alive and force a game 7 on Sunday in Dallas. So there you have it there, the champions on the brink. Colorado has already advanced in the West. They knocked out Winnipeg 4-1. Vancouver has a 3-2 lead on Nashville, also advancing. Edmonton, they eliminated the LA Kings by a count of 4-1. In the East, you've got the Florida Panthers taking down the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-1. Tampa Bay always seems to be in the mix. That was a battle of number ones there. You had the Atlantic Division number 1 and the wild card number 1. The Tampa Bay Lightning relegated to the wild card with just 45 wins this year, so they will not be deep in the postseason this year. Boston and Toronto, that series is 3-2 in favor of the Bruins, with Game 6 coming up tonight in Toronto.
Bad news, though, for the Toronto, because goal leader Austin Matthews has been ruled out. He's got an undisclosed illness, they say.
Austin Matthews from right here in Arizona.
Yep. He had 69 goals this year.
New York swept the Capitals. So the Rangers, that's the Rangers, New York, swept the Capitals, so they are on to round 2. The Islanders, the other team from New York, was knocked out by Carolina 4-1. And that's what's happening on the eastern side of the NHL. So we keep you all up to date. We'll talk some WNBA later. Diana Taurasi had some things to say about the fan base over the weekend, in case you didn't hear that. We are joined by Cricket. Cricket is the third member of our family here. Cricket, okay, so you are not, I would not call that a fancy, we're all wearing hats.
We've all got hats on today.
Was this Hat Thursday? J-Dub has his Block A hat on. Yeah. I've got my Roadrunners hat on, my black Roadrunners hat, because I was wearing I found out that the lighter hats don't show up well on the video stream.
I thought you were in mourning.
No.
Oh.
Well, I could be. Yeah, I could be. We don't know what's happening with our Roadrunners.
Mm-hmm.
Cricket is wearing a, what does that say?
True Religion.
True Religion. What
jeans.
Is that? Oh, is that a jeans company?
Designer jeans.
Designer jeans.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's not exactly Kentucky Derby fabulous
attire, right?
Yeah,
No,
right
it's
there. Are you dressing up on Saturday for the Kentucky Derby?
No.
No?
No.
Are you a dress up type of person? Do you like fancy parties and that kind of thing, and balls and?
If I have to, I can put on a dress.
Galas or galas?
When was the last time you wore a gown?
Galas?
A gown. That was probably like 6 or 7 years ago. It was lovely though. That gown That gown made me feel like a princess. Like, I imagine when women get married and they look for a wedding dress, they want to feel like that. Like, oh, wow, this is the best dress I've ever worn in my life. I still have it.
What was it? What was the party?
It was a masquerade ball that I emceed, and it was to benefit a dog rescue.
Right.
So that was really cool. That dress was awesome.
Did you have a hat too?
No, I did not.
Did you grow up in a church lady hat family? Like,
no.
Did the women in your family when they wear hats when they went to church?
No, more like sunbonnets, maybe.
Sunbonnets.
They wore things like that.
Yeah, you got to grow up here.
Yes.
I wouldn't even know what a sunbonnet looks like. I don't know. What does that look like?
It's a floppy, big, soft, floppy hat that keeps sun off your ears.
Oh, okay.
And maybe even kind of big, a little off your shoulders too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Cricket doesn't own any fancy hats.
Yeah, most of the Kentucky Derby style hats are rigid, except for the women's. The ladies, the men's hats are rigid. The women's hats usually are very floppy.
What do the guys' hats look like? I don't even know.
Kind of like a barbershop quartet kind of deal. Like,
okay.
Yeah, like just the solid brims.
Do men actually still wear quote derbies? I mean, do you wear a derby to the derby? Is that kind of the thing or no?
Could be.
I've never been.
I don't know.
I've never been a fancy hat, like a fedora kind of guy. That never was my thing. I could never pull that off.
How about a beret? A raspberry beret?
No. I used to have. Maybe I used to have one derby hat, and I would wear it occasionally, but it just never looked. I just never liked the way it looked on me. So yeah.
I have some random hats. Maybe we'll just throw them on for next Monday.
There you go. Bring them in, and we'll have a modeling session here, J-Dub. You can model your hats.
I'm ready.
You better.
All right, there we go. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
And from the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together. Collision at Speedway in Tucson Boulevard and Speedway. Some busy travel, Grant Road at I-10, Speedway, westbound at Main Avenue. And also just a heads up, tomorrow, maintenance crews back at it again tomorrow on eastbound Orange Grove, east of I-10, 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. 62 the low, 90 and sunny tomorrow, and 89 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio, 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Dairy Queen. Hey, DQ fans, cool off with their new Summer Blizzard treat menu. Try new Picnic Peach Cobbler or snag a perfect beach treat like their new Peanut Butter Cookie Dough Party. The new Summer Blizzard treat menu is one you won't want to miss. Only at participating DQ locations. Happy tastes good.
Did you miss the big game? We got you covered.
Got a man wide open to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Arizona. Nobody close to Tetaroa McMillan.
DK on the Sports Tip, 3 to 6 weekdays.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
And that's why Alaska vacations are going to be so important.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You're going to love this. Speak for yourself.
Make it quick. We have to remind people that getting an Alaska vacation right now means cool, comfortable air all summer.
Okay, so check this out. Right, because when Alaskan AC Alaskifies, we do more than just tune up your AC. Exactly. So my idea is...
we clean, test, tighten, and bring your AC back to the way it was when it was installed.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. People don't realize most of the repairs we do could have been prevented through our thorough Alaskification.
But best part is... Alaska vacations come with a 1-year, no-breakdown guarantee.
But a whole year of knowing your AC is healthy. Okay.
And if it's time for a new AC, we built the Grizzly especially for Arizona summers.
I'm going to get the technicians ready to Alaskify the city. But...
and I'll make sure the dispatchers are getting our people out fast.
But... cool idea, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. See ya.
Schedule at alaskanac.com.
Wondering if your child is attending the best school for them? Your child's education is one of the most important decisions you make as a parent. St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Catholic School, or SEAS as we're known, is located in northwest Tucson. Our school provides an outstanding academic education for students in preschool through 8th grade. We focus on moral and spiritual formation, community service, and character development. We embrace Catholic beliefs and traditions and welcome students of all faith backgrounds. In addition to core subjects, we offer music, art, PE, 3D printing, and Latin. SEAS is now enrolling for the 24-25 school year. SEAS making a difference through spirituality, excellence, academics, and service.
And right now, we have a sweet deal for you. You can get half off a year's tuition at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Catholic School. That's a $7,600 value for just $3,800. And this sweet deal is on sale right now at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
Listen to the home of the Wildcats wherever you are on your iPhone and iPad by downloading our new app in the App Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Hey listener, welcome to Limu's Karaoke Lounge, where Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, and the music never stops. Hit it!
There's an emu with a full-time job. His partner's Doug, but Limu's the heartthrob. Grubs and worms, that's what Limu eats. Gotta fuel up to save you money and hit the streets.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
Gillet. All right, both the Arizona men's and women's golf teams are going to be competing in NCAA regionals coming up. For the ladies, they are going to be headed to Las Vegas this weekend for their regional round, which will start on Monday at the Spanish Trail Country Club. And we are pleased to be joined by a graduate Gile Bite Skartkute, who is been the fifth-year leader on this team. And first of all, Gile, congratulations on another regional. This is old hat for you, kind of expected, but always great to be back with a chance to compete for an NCAA championship, I would imagine.
Yes, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me. And for sure, as you said, this is going to be yet another opportunity for us to move on to the national championship. And I mean, every single year we work the whole entire time for this exact moment. So I'm super excited to be going to Las Vegas.
Now, we talked to you earlier this year after you had your individual win, and then the team was actually able to come up with a win down at the Gators Invitational in March. Walk me back to that event, what that was like for you guys to come out on top in that two-day event.
Oh yeah, it was a great week for the whole entire team. I think it was a second tournament in a row when we were handling some weird weather conditions in Florida. We didn't really have a normal practice round, so we were competing in a little bit of adversity. But it was a great week. I think it was so nice to see the team come together. We had amazing team chemistry. We had a few parents fly in to support us, and getting a win that early in the season, I gave us all kind of a reassurance of our work, that we are heading into the correct direction. And of course, kind of a little bit more, I don't know, just knowing that we can do it. So
you talk about, and you mentioned weird weather. So let's go to the Pac-12 Conference Championships. Whose idea was that to put that in Pullman, Washington in April?
It's just the rotation through the universities. I have to say it was really nice to be in Arizona last year because it was warm and sunny. But I mean, once again in Pullman, everyone is competing in the same conditions. Everyone is cold. Everyone is battling the wind. So, I mean, it's fair for everyone, but it definitely wasn't easy.
So what is that like? I mean, what's that like for you to have to compete in those types of conditions? And obviously the first day was the toughest day because you guys, I believe, shot 16 over par that day.
Yes. I think, so the very first day, the wind switched up to be the opposite from what we had practiced during the practice round. And I think maybe it took us a little bit by surprise in the very beginning. But I think talking about that day, it's important to cover the fact that we kind of came back in that same day. I believe we were kind of at the bottom of the leaderboard after the 9 holes. And then the whole entire team realized that the conditions are not going to change. We can change our attitude. And we managed to climb out of that last spot. We managed to have a few birdies coming in and closing the round out. So I think my parents always say there's no bad weather, there's only bad clothing. And it was really true about that day. You just have to head down and get to work.
Now, wait a minute. What your parents, they said there's never, walk me through that quote one more time.
They usually say there's no bad weather, there's bad clothing.
Bad clothing? What does that mean?
So basically it means that it can be raining, it can be a thunderstorm, it can be as windy as it gets, but it's not the weather's fault. It's your fault if you don't have enough layers on.
I love that. That is great parental advice right there.
Yes.
Gile Bite Skartkute is joining us, Arizona Wildcats fifth-year golfer. So you've obviously, I mean, this is old. I mentioned at the top, this is old hat for you. You've been in this situation before. Some of the younger girls have maybe only done it one time, and there's some. I mean, imagine a freshman or two that have never been in this situation. So how do you walk a younger player through what to expect in the regional round?
I think when it comes to regionals, there's obviously a lot of expectations because we know how important that tournament is. And what I've realized over the years and what the coaches always repeat to us is that when you go to regionals, you don't look at other teams. You don't look what they're doing and what they're ranked on, which seed you are. You look at your game and you look at your own team and you focus on what we can control, what we can do at that regional. It doesn't matter which teams are competing against us. It's about our performance and nobody else's.
How do you feel like you're playing right now as you head into this particular regional round? You finished tied for 16th at -1 at the Pac-12 championships.
Me personally, my game is pretty stable. I've been working quite a bit on my short game right now, on putting especially. Both Coach Laura and Coach Braden have been helping me quite a bit to gain confidence when it comes to short game. But I think the team overall, we've been working really, really hard since we came back from Pac-12. And I think everyone is really ready and eager to go to Vegas this upcoming weekend.
When you work on your short game, what are some of the things you're doing? Are you working from different distances with the same club? Are you working from different distances with different clubs, whether it's your pitching wedge, your 9, or your 8?
So obviously chipping and wedges, they're important, but this past week my main focus was putting. And when it comes to putting drills, I've been doing everything to kind of like maintain the basics of the putting stroke and everything like that, but at the same time gaining confidence of seeing putts go in. So Coach has a very good drill. It's called the Arizona drill. When you make a higher percentage of short putts than tour average, and that's supposed to give you kind of more confidence that when you see that putt on the course, in your head, you're like, oh, I made like 100 of these last week, so it shouldn't be hard.
Gile Bete Starkute is our guest, Arizona Wildcats fifth-year senior golfer. Gile, tell me in terms of hitting the ball out of the bunker, what's your philosophy on how to do that and do it with a lot of success?
So when the bunker is near the green, I don't know, a long time ago, I was told to pick a right club, open the club face, and rip it at the sand. It is very important to hit the sand first. But when it comes to fairway bunkers, those are a little bit more tricky. And this is where I have to thank Coach for teaching me how to hit those shots. The main thing is to keep your lower body quiet, as she says. The legs basically don't move. You grip up on club, and you just swing with your upper body.
Well, that's interesting because do you guys often encounter a lot of fairway bunker situations in the course of rounds?
It depends on the course, especially here in the desert. There are quite a few fairway bunkers, so usually where the fairway gets a little bit more narrow, on the sides you will have bunkers, and I think that's what we are expecting also at Las Vegas too. If the course is more tree-lined, you might be seeing just taller grass or bushes or trees around the fairway, and there might be less fairway bunkers. But it really depends on the course type.
Have you played Spanish Trail in Las Vegas before?
I have not. No, this is going to be my first time.
So what will be the, in terms of you guys, I believe, are leaving tomorrow, so you'll get some practice time there before Monday?
Yes, absolutely. We leave tomorrow. We're going to get like a short little practice on Saturday just to get adjusted to that place, and then we have the official practice round on Sunday, and we start the real deal on Monday.
And this is the first time we've gotten a chance to talk to anyone on the women's golf side since you guys opened the fabulous Clement practice facility over there. What are your impressions of what the young ladies who are going to be coming in after you are going to get a chance to experience it? And obviously it was nice that they opened this up so you've had a chance to kind of get in there and experience before you move on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Actually, as we're talking, I am in the locker room right now. So this place is absolutely amazing. I think for the future generations, it's going to be such a good resource when it comes to physical training and golf training and just having a social place where you can spend some time with your teammates and the men's team, maybe make lunch. But I think it's going to be a great tool for recruiting, too, for the coaches because all the rewards, all the achievements on the walls, they really speak about the history of Arizona.
All right, so do they have is your picture up on the wall from making the putt to beat Stanford? I would imagine it has to be, right?
I don't think it is, but
well,
it's alive in my head.
Whoa, they don't have your picture up on the wall? Come on now, that's one of the best putts ever.
We have quite a few legends from here, so maybe this year after we make it a national.
So you're not putting yourself yet in that legends category?
Oh, no, absolutely not. There's plenty of work to do.
Got to win a national championship before you can put yourself in that category, right? Or at least get close.
Exactly.
At least get close.
Exactly.
So what's your favorite thing about it so far, about the new facility? What do you, is it the putting? Is it the locker? What's your favorite part?
I would probably have to say the putting facility. I think it's equipped with such high technology that it's really, really cool. I mean, obviously the whole building is nice. I can't get enough of it before I leave. But I think putting has to be my favorite. Yeah, for sure.
So then, in terms of once this run is over, what's next for you this summer?
So this summer I'm going to be doing an internship to be done with my master's program, because that's kind of a requirement. And then I will still be competing and playing golf and getting ready for Q school that's going to be in August and turning professional eventually.
Tell us a little bit about the internship you got coming up.
So because my undergrad was in finance and my master's are in marketing, I'm kind of combining the two, and I will be working with a company that is in golf acquisitions. So still a field that's pretty close to my heart because it's golf and finance and marketing. So that is going to be the basis of my thesis that I have to write over the summer.
Awesome. So, and will that be here in the United States or in Arizona, or will that be somewhere outside of Arizona?
It's going to be outside of Arizona, but it's in the United States. It's kind of a remote internship, but I will definitely be staying in America, so I would be able to prepare for Q school the best.
Outstanding. And then Q school, that's in the fall, correct?
Yes, it starts at end of August.
And what are your thoughts about the process for that, and what you need to do to try to obviously get your card?
So I think it's all about the preparation throughout the summer. I will be competing quite a few events just to stay in the competitive shape and seeing all the good players and playing with them. But at the same time, leaving enough time to work on the technique, see my coach back in Europe, and kind of like have a little bit of rest time, because obviously after the college season, you sometimes want a week or two of a little bit of rest. But after that, back to work, back to practice, and back to competing.
Yeah, very important to get that vacation time in. Where does Gilly like to go on vacation?
Honestly, anywhere where it's warm and sunny. That's all I need.
I follow you on Instagram. I've seen you on the lakes. You like to go on the boats on the lakes and that kind of thing as well. So that's kind of your thing.
I do like water too.
Yeah.
I do like water too.
There you go. There you go. Hey, Gilly, best of luck coming up at Las Vegas Regional. Looking forward to seeing you guys qualify into the championships, which I believe are they Greyhawk again up in Scottsdale?
No, this year we're going to California, Carlsbad.
Oh, Carlsbad, California. Okay, outstanding. Well, hopefully we get the Wildcats through to that next round. Good luck again this weekend, Gile.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Gile Bete Starkute, Arizona golfer. She is in her 5th season. She, I think we got to work on getting her picture up on the wall. Again, I tell people all the time, if I had a list of the top 5 things that I ever shot in television, one of those was her putt up at Greyhawk back, I believe it was 2019, maybe, had to have been 19. Maybe it was 21. I can't remember the years. I'm all over the place on the years. I think it was 21. 2021 to beat Stanford, number 1 seed Stanford in the quarterfinals to push Arizona into the semifinals into the Final Four. And that was the third of that stretch of 4 years in which the Wildcats made the Final Four. So good luck to the ladies in Las Vegas. Cricket, get us home every 20 minutes on the 5s with the traffic and the weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Sunrise Drive in Pontotoc, collision reported in the foothills, Pontotoc and Sunrise Drive. A wreck that occurred midtown at Speedway and Tucson Boulevard and Speedway. Expect some slowdowns eastbound Speedway at Tucson Boulevard. Also travel at Grant and Campbell busy. 62 the low, 90 and sunny tomorrow, and 88 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell's new Cravings Value Menu is a big deal, or rather, it's 10 big deals. From new items like the loaded nachos to familiar favorites like the spicy potato soft taco. Check it out at a participating Taco Bell today. Available for a limited time only while supplies last.
Here at O'Reilly Chevrolet, we want to thank you, Tucson, for helping us celebrate 100 years of serving our community. And we want to thank the Tucson Fire Department for helping us put out the cape.
O'Reilly Chevrolet. O'Reilly.
Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan.
It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE-certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What's keeping you from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make learning fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. And in 10 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
That's not long.
It's not hard.
It's perfect.
It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Wondering if your child is attending the best school for them? Your child's education is one of the most important decisions you make as a parent. St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Catholic School, or SEAS as we're known, is located in Northwest Tucson. Our school provides an outstanding academic education for students in preschool through 8th grade. We focus on moral and spiritual formation, community service, and character development. We embrace Catholic beliefs and traditions and welcome students of all faith backgrounds. In addition to core subjects, we offer music, art, PE, 3D printing, and Latin. SEAS is now enrolling for the 24-25 school year. SEAS making a difference through spirituality, excellence, academics, and service.
And right now, we have a sweet deal for you. You can get half off a year's tuition at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Catholic School. That's a $7,600 value for just $3,800. And this sweet deal is on sale right now at WildcatsRadio1290.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-2794. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-2794. That's 800-575-2794. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We appreciate Gile Bete Starkute for joining us. Arizona Women's Golf. Their regional, again, coming up next week in Las Vegas at Spanish Trail. They will play Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. They are the number, I believe, 3 seed there, and they will need to finish top 6 in order to advance to the NCAA championships, which are in Carlsbad, California this year. So best of luck to Laura Ianello and her ladies as they, again, it's one of the stronger programs at the University of Arizona. When you talk about overall success, especially of late, Arizona Women's Golf is in that realm. U of A Men's Tennis has now put themselves in that realm of consistency, hosting a regional for the 2nd consecutive year. Obviously, the recent success of U of A Women's Basketball as they've played their way back into relevancy. And Arizona Women's Tennis making the postseason for the first time in 10 years. So some good things happening on the athletic side at the U of A. There are some sports. Don't get me wrong. There are some sports we got to get together. You know, we've got volleyball has to pick themselves up. Indoor volleyball, but they got the number 1 recruit in the country coming in here. So that is a positive for Charita Stubbs and her program as she moves forward. And we got to figure out this swimming thing with Augie Bush. Augie Bush and his swimming program got to get them back going as well. So there are teams that need to be better than what they've been, but there are some good things happening with a lot of the programs at the University of Arizona. All right, the the transfer portal in terms of getting in it for football closed this week. We are beginning to find out where some of the players who went in are landing. DJ Warnell, who played some safety, kind of in that hybrid spot for the Arizona Wildcats the last few years. He is going to be playing for the Indiana Hoosiers. Very interesting. The Indiana Hoosiers, in terms of the basketball transfer portal, I don't know that there's anybody that came out looking better than Mike Woodson and the Indiana Hoosiers, because they got a bunch of guys, including Umar Ballo from the University of Arizona. I was reading, I think it was SB Nation put out an article today, the top 5 basketball teams in the portal, and 2 of them are teams that got Arizona Wildcats.
Yeah.
Indiana with Umar Ballo and Illinois with Kylan Boswell.
Yeah, I mean, Kylan's a little bit of an untapped potential type of thing there. I mean, obviously he shined at moments, but as far as the consistency, he's still young. He's got, a lot of time to learn. Umar Ballo is plug him in anywhere, any system that has any kind of, unless you're running 5 guards, DK, Umar Ballo can get plugged into literally any system and dominate from day one. So, yeah, I think, who's the other one? Miles Rice they got as well?
Miles Rice.
Yeah. I mean, and he's young. He's got a lot of time left on campus. So, yeah, I mean, I wonder. I don't have the numbers in front of me. I know Umar's asking price and all those things that were talked about at the time, but Indiana is such a hotbed for history of basketball, and there's a lot of people who are very passionate about basketball. So, in this era of NIL, in the era of having players, so news came out today, DK, that potentially down the road, ACC and Big Ten may make all of their athletes employees. So that's in talks, and there's so much money being thrown around. It's hard not to look at the most successful teams in the portal and wonder, whether or not Tyson Chicken's behind it, because that's what happened at Arkansas, right? I mean, that's Calipari got lured there, and because they've got deep pockets.
Who is our Tyson Chicken? Do we have a Tyson Chicken?
I mean, if I say any name of any longtime booster, it'll probably make everybody else mad. So there is no, international brand that was founded and based, outside of maybe Hughes Missile Systems. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of local businesses that have always supported the U of A programs across the board. Some of these schools that have those, giant multi-billion-dollar corporations that were founded around where they come from. I mean, it's just a matter of time before we start seeing players in college make more money than you could we already see it on the ladies' side of things, making more money than you will in your rookie year.
Yeah, again, that's the one problem here in Tucson is you don't have those major corporations. So you're gonna be behind the 8 ball from these other areas and these other cities and where some other colleges are that have that. That's going to be something that Arizona is going to have to deal with, not just now. I mean, they've had to deal with it ever since I got here. I mean, again, I'll go back to when I was in corporate partnerships for Learfield, IMG College at the time. They just don't have the same landscape here that a lot of places do. But we were talking about Indiana. They also brought in the guard from Stanford, Cannon Carlisle.
Yeah.
The wing, Luke Good from Illinois. So that's a pretty good haul for Indiana. Missouri was also on that list. It was, Missouri was on that list of teams that got some guys in, and they needed it because they were pretty bad last year after going to the NCAA tournament in Dennis Gates' first year. They did not win a single game in the SEC last year. But they got Mark Mitchell from Duke. They got Tony Perkins from Iowa. They got Marcus Warwick from Northern Kentucky. They got Jacob Cruz from UT Martin. So Illinois, Kentucky, and UCLA were also on this list. The Bruins got Kobe Johnson from USC. He went cross town. Imagine that. Again, that's the thing that just, going across town, really? Sky Clark they got from Louisville. Eric Daly Jr. from Oklahoma State. Tyler Bilodeau from Oregon State, who we saw a lot this season. He's going to be down at UCLA this year. Kansas is on that list. We're going to have to come up against them in the Big 12. Memphis also got a pretty good portal class as well. The Big 12 meetings were held this week up in Phoenix. I had a chance to go to an event last night for Pima College. Tommy Lloyd spoke at that event. I had a chance to speak to Tommy after the event, and he basically confirmed what we had talked about in terms of Umar Ballo and his decision to leave. And he said it was a mutual decision. There really was no way that Umar could stay because he essentially said if Umar stays, I would have lost Krivas and Vesar.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the days of Judd Bushler waiting 4 years until he's a starter in All Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore. I think after a year on the bench, maybe you're the 8th, 9th guy on the bench as a freshman. Maybe you're up to the 6th or 7th as a sophomore, but you get to your junior year and you're still behind a player who's been there for a long time, DK. Everybody wants playing time. So it just makes sense when you have super talented guys waiting in the wings. So, yeah, I mean, it just felt everything you've ever heard out of Umar Ballo's mouth, like we've always talked about, is very glowing how much he cares for the city of Tucson. So I couldn't have been any kind of, bad blood type of thing.
No.
There was some U of A transfer news the last few days as far as basketball goes for Arizona Wildcats as well. Kerr Kriisa landed himself at Kentucky. Apparently, Mark Pope had tried to recruit him really hard, originally out of high school when he came to the U of A, and then when he went in the transfer portal at the beginning of before last season, Mark Pope tried to get him. So third time's a charm, I guess. He got his guy down there now that he's the coach of the Wildcats. And Dylan Anderson today announced he's going to go to Boise State, DK. So, again, I mean, we talked last year preseason about, maybe even before that summer trip, how much Vesar and all those guys they're gonna have so much size. And with Vesar's injury and Dylan Anderson really, obviously with the red shirt, and that didn't really pan out that way. But if you're in that position and potentially you could be a contributor, but there's other guys in front of you, maybe one or two guys in front of you, DK, it's really hard. I always try to advocate for players doing what's best for themselves. And if it's not a bad blood situation and you're leaving campus with a lot of negative things to say about the administration and the coaching staff, then it's really just tip your cap and wish them the best.
So let's go to the rankings. As On3 has them in terms of the Big 12, because that's where we're going. We'll look at both football and basketball if we have time to get through both of these in this hour. Basketball, this is just the Big 12 Conference as they rate the transfer portal thus far. And I have no idea what this index score means. I think it's kind of based on if they think teams got better. It's like a plus-minus thing. But I'll give you all the teams. West Virginia, they have number 1. Kansas, they've gotten 6 kids in. They had 7 kids out, 6 kids in at West Virginia. Obviously, they were bad last year. And one of those kids out is Kerr Kriisa. Kansas was number 2. They have 4 kids in, 1 kid out. Arizona State, number 3. 4 kids in, 7 kids out. And they got although OnStar or On3 does not list the one youngster that came in as a 5-star. They list him as a 4-star. He's not. I don't know if he's even on their list right now. So they might not haven't even included him yet. So that might put Arizona State even higher.
Right.
If and when he's included on this list. So he's not yet even included on Arizona State's list yet. So that's going to be a big or that kid was out of high school though. Was he out of high school or was he a transfer?
I'm not sure.
The 5-star kid they got. Because this is just right now what we're looking at is just transfer portal. So Arizona State is number 3, Texas Tech 4, Baylor 5, Cincinnati 6, Central Florida 7, Arizona is 8. They have Arizona 8th as ranked 8th in the Big 12 in terms of transfer portal class right now on the basketball side.
Now, do you know if they do a addition-subtraction kind of thing with that? Like, do they count against Arizona if a player of the caliber of Umar Ballo leaves? Or is it just based on players coming in?
I think, no, it's a transfer in, transfer out rating.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's a transfer.
So Arizona's never going to be high on that list because when you lose 2 starters,
right?
Right?
Exactly. So the Wildcats are 8th, and then Houston, TCU, Kansas State, Iowa State, Colorado, Utah, BYU, and Oklahoma State. And Arizona is in what is just barely in their index score. Their positive index score, meaning that what they lost compared to what they got in is almost break even, according to the way that On3 does their rankings. West Virginia, they believe, got considerably better with what the losses to the Gets for them. And Kansas also got considerably better.
Yeah, it's interesting looking at the transfer overall. Like, we have the final stats from all the different leagues, DK. And, as you would predict, there aren't a lot of Power 5 conferences at the top there. And the Pac-12 is one of the highest because it's dissolving. And so a lot of players, the Washington State, Oregon State situation. But most of these conferences, at the top, it's the Americans, the only one that had more than 100 transfers. The MAC, the Missouri Valley, Southland, MAC. Those are all the tops, right? MAAC, MAC, and
the
MAC.
MAC, yeah.
Both the MACs. So those top 5 are the smaller conferences, DK, which makes sense because you get a lot of guys who maybe are 1-2 stars out of high school. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're a little scrawny. Maybe they didn't, maybe they need to put a little weight on. Maybe they had a growth spurt as a freshman in college. Maybe they just got in the gym and worked on their jump shot. Whatever that development is, a lot of times players get glossed over when they're coming out of high school, get a little time at a smaller level with some of the smaller conferences, shine, and then make their way to a Power 5 school. So it's not surprising to see so many transfers out from some of those smaller conferences.
And the Pac-12 had the most of
most of all the Power 5 conferences.
Yeah. They had 78. ACC had 68?
According to the stats I'm looking at, 40% of all the minutes played last year in the Pac-12 among players who are eligible to come back next year transferred out.
Okay. I'm actually looking at the numbers. So the number, they're not ranking. They're ranking. This list goes by percentage of conference in the portal.
Right, yeah.
Top to bottom.
Yeah, it's like the biggest mass exodus is among all the leagues. I mean, it's just the portal era. So there's players moving all over the place. Only the military academies, right? So only the Patriot League is the only league that didn't see more than 25% loss.
So the ACC had the most at 88, and then the Pac-12 and the SEC at 78 in terms of the Power 5 schools.
Right. In terms of numbers, because obviously the ACC has more teams.
All right, very interesting stuff there. In terms of football and the transfer portal, the Wildcats in the Big 12 ranked 16 out of 16.
Yeah, and I mean, how much of that...
13 out of 16.
How much of that was that first week?
Right.
After the coaching change at Alabama led to the coaching change at Arizona. It seems to me like it calmed down pretty quick after that first initial, group of players, right?
25 lost and 12 players in is the count right now in terms of Arizona and the football.
And they still have room to add a few more, right?
Yeah. They'll obviously add some, and that number will likely come up. And again, it's a veteran team with a nice core. So you may not necessarily need to dip into the transfer portal as much, but the concern, the big concern is, and I actually read these backwards initially when I said 16 for 16. That's what Arizona right now is ranked in terms of overall recruiting, high school recruiting, for this particular class. So it's not a very highly ranked class of 2024. That's coming in here for Arizona football.
And again, with the coaching change right in the middle of all of that, like that's generally, it happens when you have a coach with a particular style leave and take a lot of his commitments with him, or a lot of people decommit. It's hard to go get on campus at a major Power 5 school and have a bunch of recruits listen to the things you have to say when they're seniors in high school, right? I mean, that's such an early process. You really got to develop those relationships so early. So I have no doubt that this core group that they've put together, that Coach Brennan's put together here on campus, long-term will be very good in the recruiting circles. It's just so tough in this short turnaround to get a bunch of players from the high school senior class in right after you take over the program.
All right, coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, we're going to hear from Andrew Kane, Arizona baseball. Ironwood Ridge High School hit a 2-run homer in the Wildcats' loss on Tuesday night to Grand Canyon. We will hear from him about his first year playing college baseball and being a dual sports star here in Tucson as a prepster playing basketball and baseball. It's DK on the Sports Tip. Got JW Madden, got cricket. I'm David Kelly. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With some busy travel on the westbound side of I-10 approaching and passing Alvernon, westbound Ahaway at Mission busy. Collisions, Ruth Ruff and La Cholla, also Speedway and Tucson Boulevard and Speedway. 62 the low, 90 and sunny tomorrow, and 87 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Lowe's knows pros need the right tools for every job. That's why they sell the largest in-store selection of Klein tools anywhere. Shop Klein Tools in-store and online today. Lowe's knows tools. Lowe's knows pros.
This is Jim Rome with your Rome Report. You have to already know where I'm headed this morning. There is only one place in the world that I could start with today, and that's up on the second floor. That's right. His name is Luca. Put some respect on it. And he does live on the second floor, and he also snatches souls. Let's play a quick trivia game. Do you know who the all-time points per game leader is in the playoffs in the NBA? That's easy. That's not a trick question. It's, of course, my co-star in the greatest sports movie ever made, MJ, 33.5 per. You know who's right behind him in playoff scoring? I will give you a hint. He knocked in another 35 last night at the Crypt. I'll give you one more hint. He lives on the second floor. You need another hint? His name is Luca. This dude is on a basically never-ending playoff heater. Just ask the Clippers. Hey, fellas, thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up. But I'm not here to bury the Clippers. I am here to praise the guy who lives up on the second floor, Luca. PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million active members. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. You can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Get in on the playoff action as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. Download the app right now. Use the code ROME for a first deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
O'Reilly. Check engine light on? Take the guesswork out of your check engine light with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free and provides a report with solutions based on over 650 million vehicle scans verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What up, Tucson? This is Joseph Blair, former Wildcat and assistant coach of the Washington Wizards. When I came to play basketball at the U of A in the 90s, the Tucson community became and has always remained a special part of my life. And this is why I proudly joined the Meridian Wealth Management Tucson Advisory Business Council. If you have financial questions or concerns, please be sure and call my friends Natalie or Ruben Fernandez at 719-1433 or visit online at Meridian Wealth LLC. And as always, bear down, Tucson.
Advisory services provided by Meridian Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor.
Fun for the crew, fun for the family, fun for everyone. Dave & Buster's is the place to be for all things fun. With hundreds of awesome games, massive screens showing every single game, and their incredible menu of top-notch food and drinks. There's no better place to eat, drink, play, and watch than Dave & Buster's. Make Wednesday the highlight of your week at Dave & Buster's by experiencing half-price games on Wednesdays. That's right, every arcade game, half price. Dave & Buster's at Tucson Marketplace, your Wednesday game day viewing spot.
We get you so close to the action at McHale, it feels like Wilbur and Wilma are in the car with you. This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
TFCU Gives supports local organizations who help those in need. We take pride in giving back and believe that we are stronger when we all pitch in to help one another. Sister Jose Women's Center is dedicated to uplifting all women in our community by providing a welcoming and safe environment for women experiencing homelessness. TFCU invites you to join us in partnering with Sister Jose Women's Center. Learn more about Sister Jose at www.sisterjose.org.
Good news, everybody. We stay on the air with you for an extra 2 hours after every Arizona football and men's basketball game all season long. That's why we are the home of the Wildcats. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
This just in, Goodfellas AC is matching up to $2,000 on federal tax credit.
Whoa, seriously? This is unbelievable. I gotta call Floyd at Goodfellas.
Hello, Goodfellas. Floyd speaking.
Is it true about the $2,000?
It sure is. Homeowners like you may qualify for a 30% federal tax credit up to $2,000 on qualifying heat pumps. And Goodfellas will match the tax credit dollar for dollar up to $2,000. Good service, good prices, Goodfellas.
KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio 1290. Live from the CNWT.
From the what? Central Northwest Tucson. Duh.
It's DK on the Sports Tip with your host, David Kelly.
Radio. Just when I thought I was out, they drug me back in.
Featuring J.W. Madden.
Don't tell me about flip-flops, man. I'm a native.
And Cricket, getting you home with traffic and weather.
Camp on Melt Lemon, not in the left lane on the freeway.
Here we go! And now, a man who has not one, but three first names, David Scott Kelly.
So the WNBA preseason begins on Friday night. And as you can imagine, Chicago's on the schedule, Angel Reese. Indiana's on the schedule, Caitlin Clark. Mercury will play next week in their first. I think they have 2 preseason games. One of them will be on next Tuesday, as the season is fast approaching for this highly anticipated WNBA season. Is it highly anticipated? Are you highly anticipating it? I didn't actually have an official question of the day, but we can make that the official question of the day today.
I think the question is, are more people out there looking to see failure, or more people out there looking to see some of these young players coming in have great success? Because I bet you it's pretty split.
Yeah.
Just it's the way it works these days. A lot of people get built up into being these all-world people. And you talk about Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese. I mean, they've been in the news a lot. There's an element of, I'm from Iowa. Of course, I'll always love Caitlin Clark. If you're not from there and you're from another Midwest state up there, DK, you may be sick of hearing about some girl from Iowa.
So I want to go back to what, the NCAA women's basketball tournament was a huge success this year. Ratings were off the charts due to the fact that you had so many of these personalities, from Caitlin Clark to Angel Reese, and the great success of South Carolina, and Kim Mulkey, who is a sideshow in her own that brings attention to women's basketball. And then during the tournament every year, Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird kind of do their little analysis show. It's kind of like what the Mannings do for Monday Night Football. They've done it for a number of years now during the NCAA tournament. So I want to play you what they originally said when they were talking about Caitlin Clark's transition to the WNBA, that obviously set off a lot of fans. And I'll preface this by saying I think it set off more new fans than it did those of us that have been following the WNBA for years. And I'll go back. I will reference that I was an original season ticket holder in the WNBA. I had season tickets to the Cleveland Rockers the first 3 seasons of that team.
It hit hard, man, when it first hit Houston, right? Like that team was so fun to watch.
Yeah. So I'm an original. This is not new to me. Okay, I was an original season ticket holder of the WNBA back in the day. Back in the I'd have to go back and see exactly when it started, but late 90s, I believe, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Whenever it started, I bought tickets because my mother used to love to go to the games, and I would take her. So here's what Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird said about these are mostly Diana Taurasi's comments about Caitlin Clark's transition to the WNBA.
It's like the one thing in the WNBA that always translates no matter what. If you have a motor, you're going to outwork people.
For sure.
Because there's always going to be people coming into camp, not ready to play.
Right.
Like, and her motor is crazy.
It's crazy.
I never see her tired.
No.
Never see her tired.
And she plays 40 minutes.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, legit, all the time.
And then again, there is a whole side of the other side of the basketball that she's going to have to really like focus on defensively. I mean, and I think
we don't talk about that enough.
That's going to be the one part that when you play the way they do, I mean, she conserves a lot of her energy.
Right.
Rightly so.
Right.
Where in the WNBA, you don't get to do that.
No, you're not playing 40 minutes in the WNBA.
No.
What will Caitlin Clark's hardest transition going into the WNBA be?
All right. I mean, look,
I think defense.
Yeah, the game is just, when you talk about how physical the game is, it's just a whole different level. You're talking about the 120 best players in the world, hopefully in peak condition, and that just makes the game harder in itself.
Yeah, exactly. It's again, it's like we said, it's this grown folks basketball now. You playing against grown women out there, so you better be ready for the pounding, because they're going to test you just like they test all the youngins coming into the league.
Look, if you're like one of these 13-year-old mathematician geniuses and you can get an MIT degree or whatever, you can go and build a rocket ship to go to Mars when you're 14, because that doesn't require muscles, David Kelly. But when you transition into a professional sports league, age matters, because physicality is what it's all about. So it's not always a smooth transition, even for some of the greatest college basketball players, men or women, to go to the next level, just because of the sheer physicality of it.
So a lot of people jumped on Diana Taurasi for those comments, called it, they're hating on the young players, blah, blah, blah. I mean, when I initially heard it, I didn't think there was any hate in those comments at all.
Yeah,
I mean, they were very complimentary about her, but they were just honestly saying, here's what's going to happen. Here's what she's going to have to deal with.
To be fair, this was like a 2.5-hour broadcast, and we could only pull like a small amount. They did talk about Caitlin Clark, so there may have been some more disparaging remarks that people took more offense to. But what I heard was, a woman in her early 40s, right, who's the all-time leading scorer in the league's history by 30%. She's got over 10,000 points. Second place is 7,000, DK. I mean, this is a person who can talk about what it takes to be successful at that level, saying it's not going to be the smoothest transition. She may have a rude awakening because of how physical and how good the players are at that level. They're watching her actually play in the national championship game and just talking about how her skills translate. And I didn't hear it any more than just, number one, a challenge, like bring it, because we're going to bring it at you, Rook. That's every single sports league that there ever was.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I heard mostly. Nothing like you're never going to be good enough to be able to be good at this level. There was nothing like that said.
So Diana Taurasi arrived at training camp over the weekend, and of course she was asked to address these comments, and she addressed that and more as it relates to the Phoenix Mercury.
It's always great, every year is a different journey. And I think that's the best thing about being in a team sport, that it's always different, new faces. The goal's always the same, though. And it starts with, day one, trying to build that chemistry and finding what you are as a team.
Is it nice to have a normal off-season in a sense?
Yeah, it's been really nice. I've been in town for the most part, working out, USA basketball. So I've had a great off-season, getting to know Nate a little bit more. And, we're just excited that everyone's back.
The past few years, like different backcourt mates, now you got new ones this year.
Yeah.
How is that adjustment process, and what do you think, particularly of Cloud and Copper?
I'm really excited. I've known Tosh for a long time, competing against her, and she's always been one of my favorites to play against. There's certain people that compete a certain way, no matter what the score is, no matter how their season's going, and she's one of those players. And to bring that energy to our team and that type of competitiveness, I think it's going to move the needle for us. And then Kai is just so dynamic. I mean, there's not many players like her in the world at her size, what she can do offensively, defensively. I've gotten to know her pretty well through USA camps, and there is a certain seriousness about her that's scary for everyone else, and I like it.
How do you bring kind of all this together to make sure like this team is close? Because you guys got a lot of talent.
Yeah. I mean, it's up to us. We know how the WNBA season goes. It comes really quickly. You have to find a way to forge these relationships and this chemistry very quickly. And it starts with, today's brunch. It starts with going to San Diego today and starting our training camp. And we start forging those, really strong relationships that help you on the court.
You probably heard about Candace retiring too.
I just heard, yeah.
What can you give us some thoughts?
I mean, what an incredible career. I had an opportunity to play with Candace on the national team in Russia, obviously, and the WNBA. The way she changed basketball at her size, being able to do what she did, really opened up, I think, the door to seeing a new way of playing basketball, especially on the women's side. And what an incredible career, honestly. She's done some things that you just, not many people even dream of doing. And, what she did at Tennessee is just incredible. And, what she's doing on the other side, too, now, being on TNT and opening all those opportunities for women. I mean, she's really a trailblazer in a lot of ways.
What does it mean to have your own space at San Diego State and also with the new building, Player 15 group?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge. Sometimes it's hard when you have training camp in the city. You have practice and then everyone goes and they're busy. But, we're going to be in San Diego for 5 days and really get to know each other. We have a brand new group, and I think it'll be a great opportunity to get to know each other and start, building chemistry as a team.
How do you feel heading into it?
I feel great. I love preparing for the season. I love competing. I love the group that we've put together. I feel really good.
How does it feel to be a trailblazer? Age is nothing but a number.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is in this aspect for you at age 42.
Yeah, I treat every training camp like it's my last and like my first. I really do. I go in there with the same expectation of trying to prove myself to my teammates, to my coaches, to myself. And this training camp will be no different.
You mentioned Nate. There were some people that were critical, like right away, how can you hire a man for that job? Just, what's your experience been working with him and sort of his commitment to?
Yeah, I mean, I hate men. I don't know how they hired him. I mean, that's just all hot smoke, clickbait. I mean, the man is a coach. That's what he does for his whole life. He coached at the highest level in the NBA, and to have an opportunity to be around him for the last 4 or 5 months, it's just, it's been refreshing. He loves the game. He loves the coach, and I'm just really excited for us and our fans.
When it comes to having UConn, so many teammates that have been through this team, like with last year Mariah, now you got Kristen.
Yeah.
What does that mean to have someone away from home now and here in your home?
It always feels good when there's a Husky in the building. Obviously, we had Mo last year. Just a great person, great teammate. And, Chris this year, who hasn't played in 2 years, has been rehabbing, been in this building for the last 5 months, day and night, 5 days a week, trying to get right. So when she hits the court for the first time in 2 years, I'm going to be really proud of her. And, knowing that she went to UConn and we went through the same experiences, there is that bond that we'll always have.
You said that Caitlin is going to go through a learning curve. Some people were critical of you for saying that, but I don't know if that necessarily meant that you're now welcoming to her, right? I mean, how do you balance? I mean, it seems like you were just saying the reality is she's going to have a learning curve.
It's the new fans. They're really sensitive these days. You can't say anything. It's kind of like when you go from kindergarten or first grade, there's a learning adjustment. When you go from high school to college, there's a learning adjustment. I don't think I said anything that wasn't factually correct. And like anything, greatness is going to translate. And she's proven that in every level. And I don't see it being any different in the WNBA.
How do you feel now? You were at the USA camp.
Yep.
How do you feel looking ahead toward Paris? And what would being on a 16?
I mean, just being back in the USA fold, I missed the Worlds in Australia with an injury, which was tough. Because I always say, when the phone call, pops up on your phone, I always answer USA Basketball. It's just a privilege and honor to put that jersey on, to be a part of that program. So to be able to do all the camps this offseason, for me, it's kept me, nice and motivated, and 6 would be a dream come true.
All right, that's Diana Taurasi, who is in her 17th season. All 17 seasons she's played here in the desert for the Phoenix Mercury. She's played in every season except for one, and that was the 2015 season when she stayed over in Russia and did not play in the WNBA. But 17th season, and she said something there, and getting back to the preface of why we wanted to play those remarks was because of the comments she made about Caitlin Clark. She said something there that I will touch on when we come back. DK on the Sports Tip. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290. Cricket getting you home every 20 minutes on the fives with your traffic and your weather.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. Collisions reported Sunrise in Swan on Sunrise Drive near Swan. Crash reportedly not blocking westbound I-10 near Palo Verde. A little bit of slowing there. Also clearing Ruthroff and La Cholla and eastbound Speedway at Tucson Boulevard. 62 the low, 90 sunny tomorrow, and 88 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know there's a better way to do things, like bundling your home and auto insurance with Allstate. Why make things harder than they need to be? There's a better way to save time and money. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
What makes 1290 different than any other radio station in Tucson? 1290 is the home of the Arizona Wildcats, the NFL, and the Super Bowl. Winner! This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
And that's why Alaska vacations are going to be so important.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You're going to love this. Speak for yourself.
Make it quick. We have to remind people that getting an Alaska vacation right now means cool, comfortable air all summer.
Okay, so check this out. Right, because when Alaskan AC Alaskifies, we do more than just tune up your AC. Exactly. So my idea is...
we clean, test, tighten, and bring your AC back to the way it was when it was installed.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. People don't realize most of the repairs we do could have been prevented through our thorough Alaskification.
But best part is... Alaska vacations come with a 1-year, no-breakdown guarantee.
But a whole year of knowing your AC is healthy. Okay.
And if it's time for a new AC, we built the Grizzly especially for Arizona summers.
I'm going to get the technicians ready to Alaskify the city. But...
and I'll make sure the dispatchers are getting our people out fast.
But... cool idea, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. See ya.
Schedule at alaskanac.com.
Oh, I cracked the hull of my new ski boat today.
Oh my gosh, why'd you do that?
It's not like I was trying to do it, you know.
Sorry, that's rough, my bad, bro. Did anyone witness this epic fail?
Yes, there's videos galore, and now I'm a meme.
Accidents don't just happen in sea shanties, so Progressive Boat Insurance has you covered. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you can save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms and not available for all boats or in all situations.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns, and here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Listeners, take time to remember our troops overseas. They have selflessly risked their lives for our safety and well-being. And if hiring, consider hiring a veteran. This message paid for by R&R Restoration LLC of Tucson. They're specializing in classic car restoration. Let over 35 years of experience go to work for you. Call R&R Restoration LLC today at 520-777-6903 or visit oldguysrestoration.com. That's R&R Restoration. People who care.
Android users, you can tune in to the home of the Wildcats by downloading our new app at the Google Play Store so you can tune in wherever you are 24 hours a day. The home of the Wildcats is everywhere. This is Wildcats Radio 1290.
Westwood One presents Today in Women's Sports.
Caitlin Clark will make her highly anticipated debut for the Indiana Fever tomorrow when her team takes on the Dallas Wings in their first preseason game. It has been a whirlwind of a last month for the basketball superstar. She wrapped up her historic collegiate career by leading Iowa to their second straight national championship game, and 1 week later, the Fever took her with the first overall pick in the most watched WNBA draft ever. With all that in the rearview mirror, Clark is ready to hit the ground running in this next chapter of her career.
I've been playing basketball. There's been no really off period. And for me, I feel like that's a really good thing. You just keep the momentum rolling and keep being myself, keep learning. But yeah, I mean, I was very excited to the draft was amazing. New York City was amazing. LA was amazing. But I was excited just to get here and get back to playing basketball and, doing my job.
With Today in Women's Sports, I'm Maggie Gray on Westwood One.
Tyler from Wendy's here. The best part of Wendy's new Cinnabon Pull-Apart is every part. Unlike mornings, which have no good parts. Until now. Because with Wendy's new Breakfast Cinnabon Pull-Apart, mornings finally don't completely suck. And now that mornings have warm cinnamon sugar rolled dough and ooey gooey frosting, are they the best part of every day? Probably not, but you get the idea. Get to Wendy's today and get the best part in every bite with the new Cinnabon Pull-Apart.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, Cinnabon is a registered trademark of Cinnabon Franchise or SPV, LLC.
What's wrong? My travel rewards card didn't earn enough miles for my vacation.
Are you crying? Are you crying because of that other credit card?
Uh-huh.
Well, switch to the Capital One Venture card. Venture lets you redeem miles on any travel purchase.
Really?
Yep, and you earn unlimited double miles on every purchase every single day. The Capital One Venture card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
DK on the Sports Tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290. 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. We heard from Diana Taurasi before the break in her 17th season leading the Phoenix Mercury. She had made some statements about what was going to await Caitlin Clark upon her arrival in the WNBA. Some folks did not necessarily like what she had to say, thought she was maybe, talking poorly about the youngsters coming into the league, throwing some shade on them. And I want you to hear again what Diana Taurasi had to say about the backlash about her comments.
It's the new fans. They're really sensitive these days. You can't say anything. It's kind of like when you go from kindergarten or first grade, there's a learning adjustment. When you go from high school to college, there's a learning adjustment. I don't think I said anything that wasn't factually correct. And like anything, greatness is going to translate. And she's proven that in every level. And I don't see it being any different in the WNBA.
Yeah. I'm glad she said it that way because it was exactly what I said at the top of the hour. The new fans, those are the people that are upset. The new fans, not those of us that have been watching women's professional and college and professional basketball for years. It's the new fans that are coming into this sport, which, great. More eyeballs is never a bad thing, but sometimes we don't need the new fans because they just don't understand, and it takes them a while to understand what these situations are all about.
I think it's just this hero worship thing that a lot of America and a lot of the world is really all about. It doesn't matter if it's entertainment or sports or politics or whatever. You build an individual up to be so bigger than life that they can do no wrong. And I think a lot of Caitlin Clark fans maybe fall into that category where they believe she's going to make 10 threes per game and lead the WNBA in scoring sooner rather than later. And I think that a lot of the older players, what I've heard them say is, we want to see what she's got. We've really enjoyed watching her play with the Hawkeyes, and it's a little different. All of us were the best players on our college teams, if not the best players in the country during our time in college, right? And so all I've really heard is the challenge that you hear so many great players coming out of college and going into professional sports. You got a number one pitching prospect, DK. What do the batters say? He's okay. No, they don't say that. They're saying, bring it. I want to see what he's got. I can't wait to get a hit off this guy.
Absolutely. So that, again, our question of the day, I'm putting it up right now as we speak. So head on over to our Twitter account at Wildcats1290. Sometimes I get these up a little bit later because the thoughts just don't come to me early. Are you greatly anticipating the upcoming WNBA season? Yes, bring it, ladies. No, still not a big deal.
I don't think we can have it both ways. I don't think we can complain about the lack of support for the WNBA. 1997 was the first year. And we know that the NBA has supplemented the WNBA for a long time. You can't complain about the lack of viewership and lack of, butts in the seats for those games and then disparage the youth coming up with their fan base, bringing their fan bases with them, DK. So you talk about these, quote, new fans. Well, the WNBA needs new fans.
They do.
They really do. And anybody who thinks Caitlin Clark can do no wrong, she's going to struggle at times, as everybody does when they go up a level in anything. The question is, whether or not they stick around through that journey of watching her grow even further with that Indiana team and seeing how far they can take it, because there's already a very good core group of established vets in the WNBA who've been, dominating for such a long time.
So head on over right now to Twitter at Wildcats1290. Vote in our question of the day poll. Are you greatly anticipating the upcoming WNBA season? We'll get back on that before we get out of here today and update it as well for you coming up tomorrow. All right, Arizona baseball getting set to take on Stanford this weekend, and we had a chance to catch up with Andrew Kane out of Ironwood Ridge High School. He was a dual sports star, averaged 17 points as a varsity basketball player for the Nighthawks, hit .520 across 3 different seasons as a baseball player for the Ironwood Ridge Nighthawks. I mean, this kid is pretty good. He's pretty good. And we had a chance to chat with him about his arrival to college, first year playing Major Division I college baseball, and what that transition has been like.
It's just been a long journey, getting better every day. That's what I try to hold myself accountable to. And, I think I've done that really well, stuck into my process. And, over time, being here at this amazing school, just keep getting better. The coach has done a great job helping me improve every day, so it's been awesome.
Chip said you were previously committed to Washington State. Can you kind of walk us through that whole process of being committed there, changing your mind, et cetera?
Yeah, so when I was a freshman in high school, I committed there pretty early. And I wasn't until my senior year that I decommitted, and I kind of knew where I wanted to come right away, just because growing up here, seeing everybody come through here and all the fans, have my family here, it would have been awesome. So I'm so happy I ended up here, and it's been a blessing. So,
what are some of the key things that changed your mind that got you to that point where Arizona was the right place?
A couple coaching changes, things like that. I have nothing but respect for all the guys over there, but, at the end of the day, the coaches ended up leaving, so I decided I should reopen everything. And, like I said, I knew where I wanted to come as soon as that decision was made. So,
how did basketball help you in this sport?
I think it's good to play any sport you can. It just helps, take your mind off of things and, use different muscles, different things like that. So playing basketball really helped me, become a better athlete, new mentality, stuff like that. And just kind of all carries over to baseball, so it's been awesome.
Are you the best hoopster on this team?
I would say so, yeah. Nobody can hang with me yet.
You also did a year of football?
I did, yes, sir.
You were a receiver?
Receiver, like tight end, yes. So.
You were getting some time a little bit here and there early in the season, and now you've been in there most games. How were you able to keep yourself fresh, your bat fresh, when you weren't getting those live at-bats in games?
Yeah, like I said, just sticking to my process, knowing what I can do, especially in the cages, doing the same thing every day, trusting myself, when I did get my opportunities, trying to make the most of it and not putting too much pressure on myself to, do too much or, just try to help the team win in, whatever way I can. That's kind of what I was going for.
What's been the hardest part of adjusting from high school to college as a player?
I think the speed of the game is just a lot faster, and it takes a little bit of time to get used to. Obviously, everything's moving way quicker than in high school. So I think you get used to it over time. But myself, I'm still trying to make that adjustment in some ways. But it's been a good learning process for me.
Has it helped to play more regularly?
I think so. Yeah, it obviously helps to get in there, but I've done live at bats in midweeks and stuff like that. It's really helped me, stay composed when I get in the game. So it's been good though.
How's the transition to first base been for you?
It's been good. You know, I've been working at it like every day. It's obviously new. I've never really played there, but you know, just kind of going through all that, practicing. You know, just trusting it on the field. It's been good.
Anything Tommy has taught you?
Yeah, we always talk all the time about positioning and, you know, how to do this, you know, footwork on the bag. He's been awesome to me, like, to help understand and learn that position better.
He showed you his ability to, like, reach super high and never take his foot.
He's great at that. I mean, it also helps that he's, like, 6'5", you know, so, I mean, like I said, he's done amazing things for me, and he's helped me a lot, so.
How much had you played with or against Mason White coming up?
So we played Little League together growing up, and, you know, he went to South Point, I went to Ironwood. We played a couple times, and, you know, it was always fun. Me and him were pretty good friends, you know, growing up, and then going to Little League and going to high school, seeing him develop, and then seeing him come here last year and do what he did as a freshman. It was just inspiring to me. So.
Was he one of the people you talked about at all about this situation when you were going through your decision-making process?
Not a whole lot. You know, I kind of just kept everything to myself, and then once I did, you know, kind of commit here, we talked a little bit. So, you know, we'd been in touch a little bit. So.
What league did you guys play in?
He was in 4A, and I was in the 5A Sonoran League.
In Little League, did you?
Oh, I'm sorry. Oro Valley Little League. We both played in Oro Valley. So.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Okay. When you're playing multiple sports, your time is precious, right?
Yeah.
Like, did you ever miss out on anything baseball-wise, like certain camps or showcase opportunities because you're playing hoops?
Obviously, you know, there's some things that I might have missed, but, you know, I don't really, like, try to look back into much, like, about the past, you know, just kind of focus on the future. And, you know, like I said, basketball, football really helped me, you know, develop into who I am, baseball player. So I think, you know, even if I did miss those things, it might have helped me in the long run. So.
Sure. How would you describe your basketball game?
I was a shooter. That's all I did, man. So, but, you know, I can shoot it, so that's all that mattered. So it was fun. I miss it.
Yeah, got you. Is your family from Kentucky?
We are. So I moved here when I was 10. So I lived kind of half and half of my life, a little bit in Kentucky, and then moved here. So I kind of grew up here. I don't really remember, like, I remember a good amount, but I remember more here. Like, I grew up more here.
Okay.
So, you know.
So where did you guys live in Kentucky?
We lived around Lexington.
Around Lexington?
Yeah,
okay.
So we lived around that area.
You have some athletes in the family.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, so my uncle, he played golf collegiately. My great-grandpa, he played basketball at Kentucky under Rupp. So we've had a lot of athletes, and, you know, extended family as well has been athletes. So
you into the horses?
My dad and I are very into the horses. We love watching them, and I want to go to the Kentucky Derby one day. It's a bucket list of mine. But so.
Yeah, what do you remember about this week growing up in Kentucky?
Growing up in Kentucky, I don't know. It's just, you know, I got to see a lot of my family. A lot of my family is there. That's kind of the one thing I miss, you know, seeing them every day. But it's been good. They've been able to come out here and come to games recently, so they've been able to see me. It's been awesome.
Was it always going to be baseball in college? Did you ever consider maybe going smaller level to play basketball?
There was also always some thoughts, but at the end of the day, I think baseball is my best sport and the one I had the most success with. So I thought I would just end up at baseball. So.
What's been clicking for you at the plate lately?
Like I said, just trusting myself. You know, staying on the fastball. Like that's my main thing. Like I've been hitting a lot of. Staying on the fastball has helped me hit a lot of breaking balls that I've gotten. And, you know, like I said, trusting myself and know what I can do every day, and it's been big.
Were you surprised that ball went out the other day?
I was a little bit surprised. It kind of got caught in that wind stream up there, and it was blowing out pretty good. But, I mean, it was going to be a sac fly regardless, so I would have been happy to get a run. But then it went out, and I was like, whoa, there you go. So it was awesome.
Nice. Is there any part of you where you're sort of pinching yourself, like, that this has happened so fast that you're playing for your hometown school?
You know,
you're in the lineup.
It's a blessing, man. Like, I try to just like live the moment and like take a deep breath, take it all in, like every day, every time I'm out there. You know, just taking it all in, seeing all the fans, seeing all my family come and watch me. It's been really good. So I mean, like I said, there is kind of I got to pinch myself and, you know, just live in the moment. So.
Sure. We asked Xavier about this team-wise. How do you guys kind of process a game like last night?
You know, it was a tough game, but we're kind of flipping the page, moving to the next one. Try not to worry too much about that one, and just keep our heads up, and keep working hard, have a good couple days of practice, and then be mentally ready for Stanford this weekend, who's been playing good ball.
Tyne runs on base.
Kane hits one in the air to left field. On the run is Wilson at the track, at the wall, and that one is off the wall. It's a fair ball. Around third comes Mikalakis. Corona rounding third. Here comes the throw to the plate, not in time. Headed for third and out at third base. There's going to be Andrew Kane. He'll get a 2-run double to tie the game up.
Well, what he ended up getting actually was a 2-run double there. He had hit a home run. Actually, I was mistaken. He had hit a home run in the game on Sunday against the Washington Huskies. So, again, getting a chance to start all 3 of the games at Washington over the weekend, had hits in all of those games, did Andrew Kane. In fact, in the Washington series, he went 6 for 11 at the plate, drove in 4 runs in that series, and then followed that up with a 1-for-2 performance with the 2-run double in the game against Grand Canyon. So the youngster out of Ironwood Ridge, 6 RBIs in the last 3 games for the Arizona Wildcats, starting to come on there as he gets his playing opportunities for the Arizona Wildcats. And that's so that is Andrew Kane. Cricket now is got your weather every 20 minutes on the 5s and traffic as well.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With a collision westbound I-10 near Palo Verde off in the median. We've got some slowdowns on the westbound side of I-10 just near as you approach and pass Alvernon Way. Other collisions, Sunrise Drive near Swan, Speedway eastbound at Tucson Boulevard, and also Ruthroff and La Jolla. 62 the low, 90 and sunny tomorrow, and 87 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing. At Cool Willie's Air and Plumbing, they'll help you with any air conditioning, drain, or pipe issues. Trust the big guy. Contact Tucson's most respected AC and plumbing experts anytime at coolwillies.com, where they are big enough to help and small enough to care. That's coolwillies.com.
For 100 years, O'Reilly Chevrolet has been part of the fabric of Tucson, just as our Chevy trucks are part of the fabric of America. With that in mind, we're proud to announce it's officially truck season. And this year we have Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the all-new Chevy Colorado. Test drive your new Chevy truck on Broadway next to Park Place Mall. Call 747-8000 or check out our entire lineup at O'Reilly.com. Don't miss truck season, going on now at O'Reilly Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
O'Reilly Chevrolet.
Your home for in-depth conversation.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
The most pressing issues.
This was just a white-on-black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
And fresh perspective.
The air marshals will not be on the airplanes because they're down at the border escorting illegal aliens to their Ubers.
America's most loved truth tellers live on Tucson's home for conservative talk. This is Freedom 1400.
And that's why Alaska vacations are going to be so important.
Sorry I'm late.
Where have you been?
You're going to love this. Speak for yourself.
Make it quick. We have to remind people that getting an Alaska vacation right now means cool, comfortable air all summer.
Okay, so check this out. Right, because when Alaskan AC Alaskifies, we do more than just tune up your AC. Exactly. So my idea is...
we clean, test, tighten, and bring your AC back to the way it was when it was installed.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. People don't realize most of the repairs we do could have been prevented through our thorough Alaskification.
But best part is... Alaska vacations come with a 1-year, no-breakdown guarantee.
But a whole year of knowing your AC is healthy. Okay.
And if it's time for a new AC, we built the Grizzly especially for Arizona summers.
I'm going to get the technicians ready to Alaskify the city. But...
and I'll make sure the dispatchers are getting our people out fast.
But... cool idea, Gary.
Yeah, Gary. See ya.
Schedule at alaskanac.com.
Is reviewing life insurance on your to-do list? Now's the perfect time to add it. A friend recently told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I bumped this up on my list and got it done. I called SelectQuote and couldn't believe how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $16 a month. My husband's also 40 and his $500,000 policy was only $18 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, there was no medical exam required required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Knowing I have this checked off my list feels amazing, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call Select Quote at 1-800-280-8787. That's 1-800-280-8787. Or go to SelectQuote.com to get your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-8787. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Make sure you download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app. We've got the entire state covered like no other sports radio station in Southern Arizona. Plus, when you have the app, you can cover U of A sports with Wildcats Radio 1290 anywhere and everywhere you go and out of town, too. The mountains, the beach, working out, or maybe even...
Oh, no. Turn that off.
Download or update the Wildcats Radio 1290 app today and never miss a moment of sports analysis. Well, maybe an occasional moment. Wildcats Radio 1290.
Taylor Swift.
It's not too late for you to experience the Eras. Taylor brings the tour back to the U.S. this fall, and we put you in the running to see her in style. Win one of 3 trips to see Taylor Swift, including round-trip air, 2 nights hotel, $500 spending cash, and 2 of the hottest tickets on the planet.
Welcome to the Eras Tour.
All right, I'm going to give you that keyword to text right now for your chance to get the tickets to see Taylor Swift in New Orleans in October. The short code that you are going to text, put this number into your phone right now, 95819, and your keyword that you want to text to that number is clean. Clean, C-L-E-A-N, clean. You know what the clean is?
Well, I would imagine that it's referring to how your wardrobe looks at any given moment.
All right. So Taylor's wardrobe is clean, says J-Dub.
More like outfit.
Or outfit.
That's clean. That's a clean look.
There you go.
That's my guess.
Text clean right now to 95819. You've got a chance to be one of 3 grand prize winners. We've already given away 1 grand prize. 2 left, though, for the 2 shows in New Orleans in October. Round-trip airfare for 2, 2-night hotel stay, 2 tickets to the Eras Tour, and $500 in cash. It is Taylor Swift and the Eras Tour this fall, courtesy of Wildcats Radio 1290.
DK on the sports tip on Wildcats Radio 1290.
520-848-1290, 520-848-1290 is the number to get in on the program. You can call us at that number. You can text us at that number. Let's let you know what your Arizona Diamondbacks have going on this evening, if they have anything going on at all this evening.
Diamondbacks download.
Baseball stuff! Baseball stuff!
Because they actually don't have anything going on this evening. It's an off day for the club ahead of the next phase of their series. It'll be the San Diego Padres coming into town for the weekend, and that game will be on Friday. Diamondbacks last night, though, playing the final game of their series against the Dodgers. It was a game that did not include any Bs, thank goodness, but it was a game that also did not include a win for Arizona, as they got beat up pretty early in this one. The Dodgers put up a 5 spot in the second on Jordan Montgomery.
Montgomery's 3, Montgomery 2, again to Andy Paez. And Andy swings and he hits one high in the air, deep left center field, gone, a home run. Floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee. Andy Paez makes it 2-0 Dodgers. Barnes leads off of second base. And the 1-2. Swing on, ground ball up the middle, base hit. Here comes Taylor. They're going to wave Barnes home. Carroll makes the throw from center field. It goes through, but Barnes scores standing up. And Mookie Betts delivers with a 2-run single. It is 5-0 Dodgers.
3 hits last night for the Mookie, the Betster. He had a couple of RBIs, as did Andy Paez, who spells his name Pages, so it looks like Pages, but it's pronounced Paez. Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of L.A.
The bee specialist from the local pest control company got his own baseball card from Topps today.
Yeah. Matt Hilton.
1-2 pitches, swung on and drilled to left field. Way back and gone. Will Smith with a home run. His second of the series and Smith's fourth of the year. And the Dodgers lead it 6-0.
These calls from the Dodgers radio network. So there you go. That was the surprise, J-Dub, that we were talking about earlier.
Topps
Matt
card.
Hilton got his own Topps card. That's pretty impressive.
I'm curious now to know how many non-players have ever had a Topps card made for them.
That would be a
Probably
good question.
Not a lot.
No, I wouldn't think so. You got to be a player.
That's the whole point.
You get a Topps card. I'm sure there's maybe some mascots and some broadcasters that have
Some
gotten them.
goats, maybe.
Some goats. But Matt Hilton, the beekeeper, getting his own Topps card. That is so cool. What wasn't cool was the Diamondbacks offense against the fine young right-hander out of Japan for the Dodgers, Yoshinobu Yamamoto.
Yamamoto peeks over his shoulder at first base. Now comes set in the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on, and the ground ball to short. Mookie's behind it. Throws to second one. Rojas the turn, stretch, and out a double play.
Nicely done.
Yeah, 6 shutout innings for Yamamoto. He gets the win in an 8-0 drubbing by the Dodgers last night. Torey Lovello on the struggles of Jordan Montgomery, who gave up 6 runs on 6 hits and 2 home runs in 3 innings.
He had limited warm-up pitches. He said he felt really good stepping out off of the mound yesterday and getting ready for the start. So he didn't throw a lot. And I just felt like he was going to be able to rebound and be just fine. But no, he's going to go 90 pitches, 90 to 100 pitches. It just was, situation was a big number for 3 innings, and it made sense to get him off the mound. Nothing went the way we expected it to today. I know Jordan was just grinding away at it, and he gave us what he could, and he just looked like he was laboring and struggling for the 3 innings that he was out there. I decided to take him out of the game and just turn it over to the bullpen. Felt like with Walston's ability to go as deep as he ended up going, that we had some coverage. Just like there were some big misses for Jordan. It just looked like he was maybe out of sync with his delivery, and it just made a lot of sense to take him out of the game and maneuver into a bullpen that we thought would be able to kind of carry the workload.
Yeah, well, that didn't work out too well either. Blake Walston had 4 walks, including walking a runner in, and then he was replaced by Brandon Hughes, who walked the batter in.
Look, the recipe is simple. You gotta be able to put the ball on the plate. I think it was 8 or 9 walks today, and it's the similar message that I had a couple days ago. When you have the amount of walks that we had today, and give them the ability with that many base runners, they're gonna get to you. So it's identifiable. We got to control that.
All right, Dodgers are gone. Padres come to town. First pitch on Friday will be 6:40 at Chase Field.
And now, the best thing you will hear all day.
Hachi-machi!
It's time for the Wildcat Radio Replay. In case you missed this earlier in the day, we now bring you the best of 1290. It's made possible by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
And this is the first time we've gotten a chance to talk to anyone on the women's golf side since you guys opened the fabulous Clement practice facility over there. What are your impressions of what the young ladies who are going to be coming in after you are going to get a chance to experience it? And obviously it was nice that they opened this up so you've had a chance to kind of get in there and experience before you move on.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Actually, as we're talking, I am in the locker room right now. So this place is absolutely amazing. I think for the future generations, it's going to be such a good resource when it comes to physical training and golf training and just having a social place where you can spend some time with your teammates and the men's team, maybe make lunch. But I think it's going to be a great tool for recruiting, too, for the coaches because all the rewards or all the achievements on the walls, they really speak about the history of Arizona.
All right, so do they have is your picture up on the wall from making the putt to beat Stanford? I would imagine it has to be, right?
I don't think it is, but it's alive in my head.
Whoa, they don't have your picture up on the wall? Come on now, that's one of the best putts ever.
We have quite a few legends from here, so maybe this year after we make it the national.
So you're not putting yourself yet in that legends category?
Oh, no, absolutely not. There's plenty of work to do.
Got to win a national championship before you can put yourself in that category, right? Or at least get close.
Exactly.
At least get close.
Exactly.
So what's your favorite thing about it so far, about the new facility? What do you, is it the putting? Is it the locker? What's your favorite part?
I would probably have to say the putting facility. I think it's equipped with such high technology that it's really, really cool. I mean, obviously the whole building is nice. I can't get enough of it before I leave, but I think putting has to be my favorite. Yeah, for sure.
That was the Wildcat Radio Replay with the best of the best from 1290. It's brought to you by Desert Diamond Sportsbook, Arizona's best bet.
I'm going to have to ask Laura Anello why Gille does not have a picture up on the wall for hitting that putt to beat Stanford. I'm going to get that done.
There's a lot of famous women that came out of that program, I think is what she said about it.
Yeah, she's pretty close. That was a legendary putt in my mind. I think so. All right, I want to tell you real quick about a sweet deal I've got for you. Head on over to WildcatsRadio1290.com right now. 1 year's tuition at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Catholic School. Normally $7,600. I'm going to give it to you right now for $3,800. Head on over, WildcatsRadio1290.com. You can get this sweet deal right now. Class sizes around 16 kids. They teach religion, moral, spiritual, and character development. It was voted the top middle school in the Southern Arizona Regional Science and Engineering Fair. All kinds of great stuff over there at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton Catholic School. A sweet deal for you. 1 year's tuition, normally $7,600. You can get it for $3,800 over at WildcatsRadio1290.com. All right, give us an update, J-Dub, on the NBA playoffs because another series is about to come to an end.
Yeah, premature congratulations to former Wildcats TJ McConnell, who is playing, and Benedict Mathurin, who is out with an injury, because it's 114-93 with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. That's a 21-point lead, DK. And the Indiana Pacers, a long storied franchise, one of those second tier of not the Lakers Celtics, but has been successful more than not in the term. They haven't won a playoff series in 10 years. DK, they've been in the playoffs. This is their seventh time in that span. This is the first playoff series they will win in 10 years. So congrats to those guys.
That is awesome. And stinks that Benedict Mathurin is not able to play in this and be a part of that. What would have been his first playoff experience in just his second season, but hopefully a long career to come and more playoff opportunities with this talented young team in the Eastern Conference, the Indiana Pacers.
That Giannis didn't play in this series, because this is developing into quite a fun little rivalry, and I think without Giannis, it was a little overmatched. But again, congrats to the Pacers.
Yeah. All right, that's going to wrap up our show for today. Thanks to all the folks that joined us. Brian Jeffries was on the program today. Got a chance to hear as well from Gile Bite Starkute. Tomorrow we'll be back out at High Corbett Field, Arizona baseball against Stanford. Look forward to joining you at 3 o'clock. For JW Madden, for Cricket, my name is David Kelly. That is our time for tonight. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great evening, everybody.
From the O'Reilly Chevrolet Traffic Center, it's Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together. With reported collisions at Irvington and Midvale. Midvale Park in Irvington reported as a bicyclist struck. Flowing Wells north of Prince Road. Some southbound slowing on Flowing Wells approaching Prince. Also clearing westbound I-10 near Palo Verde. There are some freeway slowdowns on westbound I-10 just west of Alverdon. 62 the low, 90 and sunny tomorrow, and 87 now. I'm Cricket with your Wildcats Radio 1290 traffic and weather together.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. Taco Bell is introducing the new Cantina Chicken Menu with a new Cantina Chicken Burrito, Quesadilla, Bowl, and Tacos, featuring their new slow-roasted chicken. Try the new Cantina Chicken Menu today at a participating U.S. Taco Bell location while supplies last. Contact store for participation, which varies.
We get you so close to McHale, it sounds like the Arizona Pep Band is riding in your back seat.
What the hell is going on?
This is the home of Arizona men's basketball. You're listening to Wildcats Radio 1290.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It's no contest, Tucson. You're listening to the home of the Arizona Wildcats. That's why 1290 runs this town. This is the one and only home of your Arizona Wildcats.
And you know this, man!
We are Wildcats Radio 1290.
Stirring fiber, exercising, frequent trips to the store for more laxatives and fiber. Sounds like your constipation with belly pain is a lot to manage. But if your symptoms that keep coming back are signs of irritable bowel syndrome with constipation or IBS-C, ask your doctor how Linzess can help you get ahead of it. Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 85% water, right?
85% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients. Don't pay for water, pay for clean.
Save $10 when you spend $30 on Tide and Downy. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent. Must buy at least one participating Tide or Dreft detergent item, plus at least one participating Downy and or Bounce scent booster, liquid fabric softener, or dryer sheets. Prepaid card by mail. Visit pglaundryrebate.com for terms and conditions.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler.
I'm Cookie Serratos and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze fruit on-the-go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Go, Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. I knew we could not put off getting life insurance. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $40 a month. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $18 a month.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-452-5050 or go to SelectQuote.com now. That's 1-800-452-5050. Full details on example policies at SelectQuote.com/commercials.
Remember, the one and only play-by-play home for Arizona athletics is 1290. So if you're listening to Arizona football, men's basketball, and baseball, you have it locked on 1290. Wildcats Radio 1290. KCUB Tucson, a Cumulus media station. We are the sports station that Tucson turns to for all the latest news when it comes to Arizona men's basketball, along with all the play-by-play action. We are Wildcats Radio.